black power mean?
Well, it means black people coming together and using their energies and making a power base to do what they have to do in order to assure their liberation. Of course, what that means, if you really go into it deeply, means that black people must be in control of their lives, must be in control of the politics, the economics, and the social aspects that determine their lives.
All right, now, this does not mean that you're telling all blacks to go out and buy guns and move into white neighborhoods and kill everybody. Is that?
No, but they need guns now. They need them.
They need guns.
They need them. Yes, they need them.
Why do they need guns?
Well, because in the final analysis, history has demonstrated to us, for example, what we're seeing now in Montgomery, we saw right after the Civil War period, when black people were legislators and, moving in there. But once the white power consolidated itself against the assault of the Civil War, they came and moved against blacks. And when blacks moved, especially in Montgomery, Alabama, since the period of, let's say, the 50s, when Dr. King began the Montgomery bus boycott, for example, they started an assault against the white power structure, which again, with overall contradictions in the country, had them weak. But the white power structure will again begin to try and consolidate itself. Once it begins to try and consolidate itself, again, it will move against black people. Unless we are ready to defend our positions by any means necessary, they'll put us out again.
Stokely, when you say by any means necessary, exactly what do you mean?
By any means necessary. By violence, by non-violence, by any means necessary.
But you don't push any particular thing, any particular method.
No, whichever, for example.
Whichever one is necessary at that time.
Right. For example, in 1956 in Montgomery, Alabama, a non-violent boycott brought effective changes.
That bus company went out of business here
it brought,
a few months ago.
Good. It brought poetic justice.
Well, yeah.
It brought more effective results than would have violent demonstrations at that time.
Welcome to another episode of the Nick and CJ Show. I'm one of your hosts. I'm Jay. What's up, Nick?
What's going on, my friends and family? We are back. Nick and CJ. It's always good. I love when CJ plays these clips. I almost want to answer that guy's question, right? I'm glad he wanted to have the conversation. Props to him for asking the right questions.
Yeah,
and driving dialogue. But why should black people be armed? We are not liberals here at this channel, guys. We're not these fucking establishment plant Democrats who I want you guys to understand the position of the liberal. The liberal is increasing police budgets. At the same time, they were like, we want to decrease and rob you of your Second Amendment and Fourth Amendment rights. And I'm not using a right-wing attack, guys. This is literally what Joe Biden tried to do. He lost. The Supreme Court struck him down because he was trying to make it so police can literally seize and search your gun and take your the guns out of your house without a warrant. So my response to him, like, should black people be armed? We are not disarming. The working class don't disarm. Black people, indigenous, disenfranchised people, hell to the nah. Do we disarm before white supremacist groups, before the police, before the military? Disarm the military industrial complex and the police, and then get at me. Then get at me. But anyway, so I had to answer that question. That was a great quick clip, CJ.
Yeah, no, but what I saw in that clip, what I saw was the representation of a field nigga talking to a house nigga saying, hey, yeah, he's like, hey, but you're not gonna really do violence, right? Like, when you say this, what do you mean? Like, just imagine that. Like a house nigga trying to keep the peace. Like, wait, the white people getting crazy, they getting antsy over here. So what do you mean by you want to abolish slavery? Like, what do you mean there? You get what I'm saying? Like, that's essentially what I saw in that clip right there. So love those clips though. Let's do a quick chat check, Nick, before we do all of the shout outs and everything, just to make sure nobody's saying no problems with the sound. I see a lot of the regulars here. What's up, John?
John, what's up, John?
Yeah, and Okay, Tony's here too. All right, so again, like this stream, like we say every episode, like this stream so that we can get around these or help with the algorithm that's suppressing us. And I have real evidence, Nick. Like I went to the Hill, looked at their same likes. Like, so a video that we have that has 350 likes, we get about 3,500 views. On the Hill, same likes, they have 15,000 views on the same amount of likes.
Man,
can you believe that? 360. That spawned a video that had 362 likes and it had 15,000 views, and I'm like, what the fuck? We're really being suppressed, Nick, because the likes that we have, our views should be out of the roof. Like, there's a video that has 1,000 likes and it barely has like 4,500 when it should have more like 9,000 views.
Yeah, real talk. So I was literally just talking to my friend, and I was telling him how she was like, "Why do I only see CJ on? Because she only able to watch CJ on during your time slot." Oh, I'm like, you don't see. I'm on in the evenings, and I've been on for the evenings for the last few weeks, right? And then she's like, "I never see you because she never get notifications." It's like, period. She legitimately did not know I had evening slots, and I've been doing that for like 3 weeks now. Because and my friends tell me this all the time. They said we don't get notifications, we don't see your streams. Even if you are live, they will bury the streams in the recommendation. It takes a long time to find it. So that's why, like, we probably pushing Rumble hard. We pushing
our mailing list. I put that up there. Our mailing list. Join our mailing list, because we sent, like, for this stream right here, I sent out a notification. So if you're on our mailing list, you got a personal email. We were going around the Twitter algorithm. So, you know, like this stream, we just crossed 15,400 subscribers. So we're something like 15,416 was the last check after my last show earlier. So thank you for all your support. And I'll pass it now to Nick for anything else. Shout out to
we're growing a sick community, guys. It's different. I was watching Breaking Points, and there was like, yeah, we looked at our analytics, and the vast majority of our people that watch are like millennials or younger. And it's like there's like a certain audience they have. We talk about Vosh's audience, where one of my friends was like, Nick, I don't know why you guys really talk about Vosh like that, because like my son watches Vosh, and he's like a preteen, and he's like, I know who he is because I was like, oh, he's the video game guy. And then and I've been in activist circles for a while. No one knows this dude.
Nobody knows him.
People only watch him because they watch video games on Twitch, and then they follow from that. When I look at our analytics, and I'm dead honest, like CJ seen it, I can screenshot it for you guys. Our age group is spread out. Like it's literally like 20% under 30, 20% 30 to 50, 20% literally spread throughout all the demographics.
I don't think nothing's above 20%. No demographic is above 20%.
It's crazy. It's crazy. I have Kareem Batesh telling me about all the international people he knows that watches the show. Josada was telling me about the Brazil. She was like, man, we need to get Portuguese translation, because I know a lot of Brazilian people that watch the show, but they struggle with the English language. So we need we do grow in Brazil. Like, and then I'm like, man, we got all these people. I have people reach out on me on Twitter, like, solidarity from the UK, brother, solidarity from Pakistan. I'm like, bro, we got like we're not that big, guys. Don't misunderstand. We're not big, but look at the audience we are growing despite not being big. Like, we are growing like a solid activist movement base of viewers, not just people who just watching video games, who just reacting to culture war shit. And that's why I'm hyped.
And what I like, Nick, is how we took our virtual world and made it real. Like, people that on Twitter that no face, now they're on our shows. We're talking like live. Like, I like how we took like, hey, no, let's take this virtual and make this a little more real.
I saw Savvy Rome and Dr. Jill Stein hang out. Guys, like, man, this shit about to be wild. I saw you was meeting up with Rome, JB meeting with Savvy. Like, I'm in the middle of nowhere, guys. I'm gonna meet up. Me and Rome, we doing tour for a tour in Kansas City in July.
Oh, July he's coming. Okay, July.
Yeah, so that we already got that plan, and I'm gonna try to start traveling, man. But things been hectic. Like, you guys know my personal life. I had people die and shit. So it's like, man, it's been a rough year. But man, I see anyone travel. I want to start traveling, and you had this amazing idea of like helping organize workers. There's one of my homies just hit me up. there's Kansas City Starbucks is working to unionize.
Oh,
I
for
want
sure.
to cover that. I want to be on the floor covering that. I want to bring one of these people on, and that's great. I want to help any KC like worker movement we can with the platform that
Yeah,
we have, because they fucked up. I
absolutely.
told you they shouldn't have gave us a platform, and they fucked up. Because now
Right.
we're
And
gonna
I
use this
was
platform, we're gonna use this
and
platform to help the movement much as we can. Like, we're not gonna like shift mountains. Like, I'm not trying to make us like a bigger deal
oh,
than what we
absolutely
are.
not.
But
Yeah,
we're
be
gonna do everything we
realistic.
can,
Yeah.
right? Right. We're gonna do everything we can. But CJ, you want to say something? Then I want to add
Yeah,
after that.
yeah, because Rome has said something, just flippantly saying, "Hey, okay, now let's unionize Walmarts." And then I thought when he
Why not
said that,
try?
it triggered me. Same that was my reaction. I was like, what does everybody think of RBN? Do you think this is doable? Like, could we financially gain the support to where we could be, hey, let's start with, we would want to strategize and find what Walmart is in an area
We
where
can
there's a lot
even
of
give
people
them
that might
tactics. We can even and
exactly
we can learn, and like, even if we don't like even just like unionize the place, like, what if we talk to workers, we give them tactics, like we can kind of be like the connecting bridge to a lot of these workers. Like, we had the General
right,
Strike Summit. We were talking to the dude from the K-Log union strike, and we was like, and I remember Rome asked this question. He was like, why don't you guys work with other workers in order to have like a general strike, so you guys have a wave of demands? And he was like, I'm down. He like, that's
that
something
would
that
be
haven't been
cool.
that we haven't done that before, but I'd be down. So it's like, shit.
I think this is
Maybe it'll
something we
work.
can do.
Maybe it wouldn't work, but why not try? I told you guys my ideology is take all our shots. Like, we do this shit and we
Yeah.
fail. Like, I'd rather do that than just sit around and do nothing.
No,
That's
I'm
my
just saying,
mindset.
is it a real fail if because is it a real fail? Because Marx talks about this, Karl Marx talks about this. The trade unions, he speaks how the trade unions, yes, it's for to get labor, rights and all of that. But the bigger, broader point is for workers to congregate together and understand the power. That is the real important part of it. So if this could, this continues to domino, which I think it is, because we're in that domino effect, I just think that RBN can't sit back and just keep watching this
Hell no.
unfold. You know what I mean? Like, we need to
Hell
jump in
no.
and be like, even
I
if
miss
is
being
it
on
a
the ground,
fail?
man. I miss being on the ground. That's why I got started
Yeah,
as a citizen journal. I was on
yeah.
the ground talking to people. So that's why I want to get
I'm just
back
thinking
started
it's
doing. Right.
doable. I just
Yeah.
think that it's doable for RBN to do this, and it's not a fail if they don't get it, because we're
Yeah.
on the
We got fight,
ground
man.
we're on the ground teaching people economics, we're on the ground teaching people Marxism, we're on the
Building
ground teaching people,
community.
right, we're building community through that. And hey, let's try it again. You can set up another vote and let's redo this another time. So go
Build the
ahead, Nick.
infrastructure. Yeah, build the infrastructure. Was also because you guys know we got hyped the anti-imperialist summit. We got it this week.
Yeah,
Talking about the crowd and the audience we have. We appreciate you guys. We don't have like the greatest clout in the political world, right? Especially among like the giant electoral politics side of the media and organizing, because they see what RBN's talking about. They're like, fuck that shit. Fuck that. Talk about general strike shit. Fuck that going after the squad shit. And I'm not exaggerating, guys. That's their criticism of us. That they don't like the fact that we debunk their bullshit about electoral politics. I got a story we're gonna cover here here a little soon. But our audience, we put that idea of the anti-imperialist summit. Josana was the first one to come up with it. But I was like, all right, let's make this a reality. And we just put the word out, and we rely on community power. And we was like, y'all like, hey, y'all, we need speakers for CIA. Something here that I got planned. We need to get this speaker on, and our community mobilized and help us get a lot of the goddamn names that we got for the summit. So I'm telling you, you guys gotta watch this, because I remember I was on CJ. I was like, man, maybe should we do like 2 days? I'm not sure like how many people will be able to get on this motherfucker. But man,
yeah.
we
No, but
have.
yeah, the
Let's get a
mobilization.
list.
I
Let's get a
mean,
guest list. Go ahead.
VJ Prasad. I mean, like Ben Norton, like Aaron Monte. Even though but it we was secured. I mean, just like
I think Aaron
people just
Mate
start
and
delivering. People just
it's
start
gonna be
delivering. Go ahead.
Aaron Mate. Hold on, let me pull it up, guys. You guys gotta see this.
I can
You
bring
guys
this down. Go ahead.
it's gonna be Aaron Mate, Margaret Kimberly on the same panel with CJ, right?
Oh man, that's gonna be fair.
And Ben, the thing is, we got Q Anthony Omene, he's on the same panel with Dr. Vajay Prashad. Am I saying that correctly? Yeah, Dr. Vijay Prashad. Yeah.
Rashad.
And then I'm working on Carlos. I think I may get Carlos on that same fucking panel too.
Yeah, Carlos is fire, and
then
everybody remembers Carlos. He was on our show, Carlos. Yeah.
And then we had Dr. Gerald Horn on Sunday.
Yeah, that's that one right there.
People been hitting me up like people like, why you haven't had Dr. Gerald Horn on your show? I'm like, guys, I've been wanting to get him on my show ever since I started the YouTube channel.
Yeah.
So guess who got him? Our boy Dr. Kareem Batesh, man. Man, they've been helping us out. They're gonna be hosting lots of panels as well. He got Dr. Gerald Horn, man. It about to be me, Gerald Horn, Kareem, and Peter. So it's like International Leftist Coalition, but we got Dr. Gerald Horn on there. Like, how fire is that?
Yeah, this is gonna be great. And then we got all the anti-imperial, not all, but we got a lot of the anti-imperialists.
Oh, Black Power Media. You guys been asking
Black Power Media.
You guys been hitting us up about them too. We finally about to do it. I'm about to join them tomorrow. Actually, I'm gonna be on their show tomorrow to talk about the summit and God knows what else. That should be fun. I don't know what else we're gonna talk about, but you guys know I'm down for whatever. Jimmy Dore gonna be on Saturday. I'm gonna have Caleb Maupin right after him. I may put Pasta on that panel. I'm working on putting some other people on those panels as well. But anyway, my point is,
do we got Max? Did we secure Max, or did we
Blumenthal? I don't know if we got him yet.
Yeah, well, we have Aaron and we have Ben. We have Wyatt Reed. If you don't know who Wyatt Reed is, everybody know Wyatt Reed. We have him
yeah,
also.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So I'm gonna fit him. He said he's flexible. So I'm gonna fit him on wherever he wants to go.
I'm trying to work on I saw some people asking about Isha. I'm trying to get Isha K on here too. Luna Oy, we're gonna reschedule another panel because unfortunately she had to travel, but we'll get her back on the show here soon. She has something come up. But Isha K, she's gonna be on. That's to be decided. But the point is, we got a lot of great panels coming up this weekend. So I can't help to bring this up because I've been covering extensively foreign policy, policing. Like, if you look at my shows every evening, this is what we cover. I'm like, bro, I don't even get fucked. You guys click on this shit. The people who do, you guys gonna get radicalized. That's how we do my segments, right? So we're doing an anti-imperialist summit because I'm trying to figure out how do we fucking take on this global empire. Look how they was able to manufacture consent and create an entirely brand new military-industrial complex coalition just like that in the guise of fighting a new Cold War. Germany, who's supposed to be completely demilitarized, now had the third largest military because of Russian insanity, right? The people who we used to be like, oh, fuck Nazis, punch Nazis in the face. We fuck, like, that's literally how we supposed to be brought up. Trump supporters was like, they were smeared as the worst of the worst because they're like, no, they're Nazis. We got punch Nazis. We never formed coalition with Trump supporters because they're Nazis. They managed to manufacture consent to funnel massive amount of money to the weapon defense contracts. And we talk about this all the time. I talk about this all the time, police. How the United States military, like, when have we won a war? I'm telling you, we do not win wars. We do not accomplish objectives. The only thing we have done is accomplish destruction in Afghanistan, Iraq, Libya, Syria. We did not accomplish our objective. Think about it. Our objectives was a war on terror. Those terror groups are still here, and terrorism is on the rise. Like, it literally was the exact opposite.
That's true.
More terrorist cells developed after our war against terror. So when we had those theoretical wars, the war against terror, we did accomplish our mission. What did we accomplish? Destruction and the enrichment of weapon defense contractors. What's the goal against Russia and Ukraine? We've been telling you guys, a lot of great anti-imperialist channels and news telling you guys, the Ukrainians are not winning this war. That's not happening, boo. I'm sorry to tell you. The news that's trying to pretend that Russia is doing that Russia is losing, they are lying to you. Russia has been dominating this war from the very beginning. They had communications completely cut off from the in Ukraine military from day one. Complete air superiority from day one. They've been surrounding capitals. They've been taking it slow. By all accounts, that is not straight up Western propaganda. So they're losing that war. But what is it about? We have people in the UK and the US. Sorry, CJ, I'm going long. You feel free to
No, go ahead.
So you had people in the US and the UK openly admit they're using Ukraine as a proxy war against Russia. Yeah. Now you want to see the results of this? Now I think I did enough preface, right? Now here's the story. Here's the graph. Here's the headline. Global military spending tops $2 trillion for the first time as Europe boosts defenses. So think about this, guys. This is in the middle of a pandemic, in the middle of a speculative food shortage that the capitalist class are causing, by the way. Let's be clear. They are causing it. Think about the amount of food we throw away. They're destroying food farms and factories right now as we speak. Me and Josana have a story we're working on that. So as we have all these problems going on, the global poor expanding, global military spending tops $2 trillion. And now check out this headline here. Growth trend in Europe seen intensifying after war in Ukraine. Check. Mission accomplished. That was the mission in Iraq. That was the mission in Afghanistan. Yep. That is the mission. And that what Julian Assange said. I'll find a clip when you go, CJ. I didn't have to say, but I have to show you guys this. Julian Assange actually said, you guys think they're trying to win the war in Afghanistan? It's about fucking plundering the state and funneling money to weapon defense contractors. But you got people with Ukraine flags like, we stand for democracy. You guys don't even know what this shit is about. CJ, you have anything you want to add?
It's sad. It's sad to see how easily people are just persuaded to believe in literally complete nonsense, literally complete like made up stuff. And then what is the cherry on top, Nick, is like they'll find out. Like I think the report came out. Yeah, the reports of intelligence. Yeah, we just make that up just to. You remember those reports, right? Where they just make up stuff to report on. I can't remember what they were reporting on. But anyway, where they just make up stuff and people are still okay. Well, it's because if we're just making up stuff, propaganda against Putin, that's okay. It's that sort of just blind. But Nick, we see it not only in foreign policy, we see it in domestic policy, we see it in Black people voting against their own interests and supporting the person that wrote the 1994 crime bill. That is still freaking hilarious to me. Funny, but not funny. You get what I'm saying? But yeah, that's my take.
So I'm gonna share you guys Julian Assange's take. There's a reason why they had to try to kill this motherfucker. They still are. But this is his take on. Let me fix the audio here, and now let's speak for itself.
Because the goal is not to completely subjugate Afghanistan. The goal is to use Afghanistan to wash money out of the tax bases of the United States, out of the tax bases of European countries, through Afghanistan and back into the hands of a transnational security elite. That is the goal, i.e. the goal is to have an endless war, not a successful war. Because
Repeat that quote. The goal is not to have a successful war. The goal is to have endless war. It's about making money. And guess who's manufacturing consent for this? The progressives in Congress. They all for sending weapons to Ukraine. There's so many people. There's this small fraction of the left, us and our allies, right? We're like the only people that are serious about this shit, that actually knows what global geopolitical politics is actually about. Our channel, Jimmy, we're the only one who bring the petrodollar. You did a whole stream about the petrodollar.
Yeah.
You ask more people about the petrodollar, they have no idea what you're talking about. You mean one of the most important things you can know? You don't know that?
That's literally going to affect the way of life of every single American. Like wherever you're at, you could possibly take a slightly step down in the way of life. So if you're high living, this may not. But if, you're talking about the people at the bottom of the bottom, you're talking about starving. You're talking about rationing food, eating one time a day. Like this stuff is like serious. So for these other channels not to even talk about it, and I go and look at their videos, Nick, to see what they have, because when I'm doing my research for my show, they're not even reporting on real shit. Don't even go to the majority report.
Hell no.
They're not even. He's not even talking about no serious shit at all. It's funny.
I don't know how they do it. Like, you see how long our streams are sometimes, and then we like, damn, we didn't get to everything, guys. I'm like, man, there's so much shit to talk about. Then to see the clown shit that they be talking about, it's like the same old shit, man. Like it's like the same thing you would see on cable news, but they're like, we're gonna give you like an edgy take on the cable news story. This the shit that they want to highlight, right? Like they don't. How many of the people gonna do the story about the military spending in $2 trillion? Every stream I do about 5 streams a week. I cover state violence, class warfare, and foreign policy. And there's an endless amount of shit to talk about, because every time I do every week, and me and Cream always bust my balls on this kind of stuff too. He's like, man, Nick, when next time you talk about Yemen, bro? I'm like, man, I talk about Israel, Palestine. I'm like, all right, I got you, bro. I do that next time.
There's so much.
There's so much, but they don't even cover it. Like, they don't even cover, and this is a tweet I made. How many people in other media talk about this? The fact that Bernie Sanders and the Democratic Party and the Republican Party got together to end the genocide in Yemen. That passed the Congress and the Senate miraculously. It had bipartisan support. Then Trump vetoed it. So I used to bring that up all the time to Trump stands. You know, the people who used to pretend he's anti-war. I'm like, shut the fuck up. Your boy is funding a genocide. He vetoed a resolution that would have ended our support of that. So, once again, not only on Trump, it's on everybody involved. You can blame them at different degrees, but now you have an even more blue Congress and Senate. So, without a doubt, Bernie Sanders could pass a Senate resolution to end the genocide in Yemen. So, I'm asking Bernie supporters, why is he not doing it? It passed through the Congress and the Senate when it was more red under Trump. Now it's actually more blue. And even that is actually irrelevant because it had bipartisan support. So there's nothing stopping Bernie Sanders and Ro Khanna, because Ro Khanna drafted in the House, Bernie Sanders drafted in the Senate. I am asking you guys, why have they not brought up when Biden?
Unless that was theater and they knew he was going to veto it, so they just went through that whole process. But they know now. Yeah,
these are the questions that channels are like, Bernie 2024. They're not asking. They're not asking these questions. So was it a political stunt? Because I gave Bernie a ton of props at the time when I covered this. I'm like, this is good. I'm gonna criticize him when he bad on foreign policy. This is good. But looking back at it now, looking at what he's doing under Biden,
yeah,
that was a political stunt, because you knew Trump would veto it. They knew Trump would veto it, and they gave them the headline they used against Trump. I use that to rip Trump, because you should. He vetoed ending a genocide. And
this is how the two parties work together. This is how the two parties are one, because they work together to also they can appear for the people that wanted to vote yes when they all knew that Trump was gonna veto that bill. So it's just theater,
also,
more theater.
Don't get it twisted. But Joe Biden would veto that shit too. He ran on ending the support of genocide in Yemen, and I tweeted this out. I don't have to show my receipt. I brag about it all the time. I made this prediction in December before he got sworn in. I'm like, guys, if you guys think he's gonna end a genocide in Yemen, it's not happening. I predicted that before he even got office. The foreign policy of the United States does not change between presidents. Do you guys understand? The empire and the intelligence community move in one direction, and if you're a president and you step out of that, you're either not going to get in that position or they're going to kill/remove you. Look how fast they tamed the quote-unquote anti-establishment Trump. He was like, we got to end the wars. And then he backed.
That's why they didn't like him. That's the real reason they was like, oh, this guy got to go. It wasn't because of those tweets. It wasn't because of that racist stuff. It was because of the military. He wasn't 100%. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not at all saying he's anti-war, but he wasn't like, he didn't have that just excitement about just war. He didn't have that, and that turned him off. Turned him off. So
I love that interview when someone was like, "Hey, so don't you think Putin's a killer?" And he was like, "You think we're not killers, bro?" You're like, "We killed some." He's like, "Bro, you out your damn mind." So That's why they hate this motherfucker, right? That's why
Right.
they hate him because he would say the quiet part out loud, right? And
Right.
Biden and Barack Obama, well, not Biden now because he's like fucking, he's so done. Like it's elder abuse what they're doing to this dude now.
Yeah,
But
that
Barack
guy.
Obama in
He's not running
particular
the country.
was an amazing salesman of war. There was a point where Barack Obama said himself, he's like, man, I'm really good at killing people. That's who these people are.
Said just like a house nigga.
Right? That's their job.
Imagine him saying that. Can imagine him saying that a house nigga, man, I'm good at catching these runaway slaves. That's what that that's what
that's what
that
Obama says. I want to acknowledge, man. He was a psychopath. He dropped he dropped a bomb and drone strike and killed this boy who was a son of the guy they was targeting. And then he was asked, the White House was asked about it, and then they was like, well, he should have had better parents. What? You guys are psychopaths. But you guys when we had Trump derangement syndrome, it just they sold it better. There was better actors. That's what it is. And
that is true. Jared Kushner did get a payday.
Yeah, they had to kill Julian Assange because he was wanting to expose it, right?
Yeah.
Now think about how full of shit. Now this is another part we gotta cover in this part of the story, right? Now we're talking about here's the headline again. The global military spending is at $2 trillion. Now people wonder why this neoliberal establishment is struggling, why Emmanuel Macron is struggling to be a fucking fascist. like she straight up, like Le Pen was like, yo, how about we just like ban Muslims? And then you struggle to beat that person. That's how bad neoliberalism is failing people. Go ahead, CJ.
No, but just think about it. If you look at it holistically, just think about the last 50 or so years, 100 or so years. This is what the military-industrial complex has convinced the world, that humans are willing to be fighting and killing each other for decades and hundreds of years. That's what they've convinced us. You mean to tell me nobody has said, you know what? Why don't we just stop this shit? But no, if you have an instigator that instigates everything around the world and funds coups all around the world, like this is where we're at, because there's no way humans should be fighting this long, Nick. It's no way. We should have this together by now, unless we're instigating.
I can't remember the exact statistic, but the America has been at war 222. So actually, when's the date? So let me do the math on this. So let's add. So according to this, I'm gonna just add because it's like 5 years old. So out 227 years we've been at war, and we've been a nation for 246 years. Bro, that's literally fucking from the time you're a baby to the time you enter college. That's the only time the United States has been peaceful. And and to back up my point, I told you guys, despite your little elections that you have, it's very fun, isn't it? You guys have your little red blue games. You gotta get out the vote. You put your little pin on. You put your pin on your shirt. You tweet out, "I voted, guys. I saved democracy." Right. Despite that, the shit doesn't change. In 2018, and I predicted this. Remember when we covered the Afghanistan withdrawal? And I peeped this. Remember, check the old videos. I said, why do you guys think, despite pulling out Afghanistan, a war that cost $300 million a day, they somehow increased the military budget? So when that happened, I'm like, something doesn't add up. Why you guys? You're like, oh, this is a great shift in U.S. empire. Biden not starting any new war. Trump not starting new wars. Like, for one, you guys ignoring the fact that economic warfare is war. So that's a blatant lie. We've been waging war in Venezuela, Cuba, the DPRK. Like, we've been waging war against non-Western hegemony states for years on countless presidents. So they said in 2018, this is when Trump started his rhetoric. When he's like, I want to end the war in Afghanistan. Then we seen the right starting to agree with it. Josh Hawley started coming out and saying this shit, right? Because they said they're going to focus and shift away against the war on terror and focus on fighting a new Cold War against Russia and China. So now you know why the CIA started funding the Azov Battalion, why they started escalating their attacks against ethnic Russians in the Donbass, why NATO started to expand blatantly despite Russian warnings and their patience, to be honest, when you look at the historical events, the patience, despite the ethnic cleansing of Russians in eastern Ukraine. So there's speeches about Biden, there's speeches about many national security experts where they straight up admit this, where they say, yeah, if we continue to encroach on NATO, if we continue to fund radical groups in Ukraine, it will escalate a war against Russia, which is the goal. This new escalation against China is the goal, right? Why? Why is that the goal, guys? Once again, now let's get back to the basics. Why is that the goal? Back to the story. Mission accomplished. Global military spending tops $2 trillion. How many times did I say it? Mission accomplished. And there are a lot of dipshits that are cheering for this. People wonder why. Oh, Nick, you don't got Bernie fever? Why would I have Bernie fever when he's supporting?
That doesn't make any. Yeah, it doesn't matter either. And what this number says, and what this says, and what kind of what you've been talking about is that presidents don't run shit really. They're just figureheads.
Not at all.
And our Congress doesn't run because a country, the way capitalists view things, and why they're so against freedom. Because they're not really about competition. They want steady flow of money, right? So they control everything. And the figureheads, they just introduce the different figureheads so that we stay like control. Like we don't just riot because we're not really running shit. So this is just for show because corporations literally run things. Because corporations are treated like humans. You telling me, Nick, corporations are treated better than humans in the tax code. They're treated better than humans in law. They're treated better than humans. And they're always talking about, we need to get a business person to run the country. Why do you think that is? Because they view it as a business and we're simply workers. And that's the point. I'm going to leave it there. I'll get to my other notes.
Yeah, and now do you guys see why we cover things that a lot of the channels don't cover, the bourgeoisie channels? Right? Because when you cover state violence, when you cover foreign policy, when you dig into police funding, look into police corruption, when you look into military corruption, when you understand how our economy actually works, we got an economy that is built on debt, slavery, and colonialism. I hope you guys realize that. Our economy is ran based on child slave labor. And our economy also ran by putting people in debt. And it's also funded by the prison industrial complex, also funded by military industrial complex. I had conversations with people before where it was like, okay, if you slash the military budget, because I was like, bro, slash at least 50-70%. People were like, what about the jobs though? Fuck that, do another jobs program. What kind of horrible job program is this? A jobs program that most people can't do. You got age limit, like inherently ableist as well. So if you want a jobs program, just have a fucking jobs program, like a federal jobs guarantee or something.
Right.
But you see how they use it in the most inefficient way? That's how our system works. When you cover state violence, when you cover foreign policy, when you cover the issues that we cover, the whole facade of the red-blue game goes away. When you talk about the direction of the global empire, so it's easy to talk about, oh, do you see what Marjorie Taylor Greene said during her hearing on January 6th? Oh my God, do you see Stephen Nunes? He dissed fucking fill in the blanks. These stupid motherfuckers. Ron DeSantis, he gave a speech about kids being taught about gay people. Like it's like, bro, this shit is meant to distract you away from the shit that destroys their entire narrative.
That's destroying that. Just think about that. I mean, just think about that. Like corporations, they've convinced even the people, Nick. Like, can you imagine the ruling that came down about when it was black people are 1/3 of a people or whatever it was, 1/5 of a person, and then the reaction to it? What was the reaction to Citizens United? Why wasn't there a mass uprising? Corporations are people too. No, they're not.
What the fuck?
We just kind of just went, oh, okay. Oh, they can donate as much money as they want. Oh, okay. That's to me that is a beaten down people. That's an exhausted people of like, well, I got to get back to this job. So do what you got to do.
That's our biggest weakness, man. That's our
Right.
big Americans' willingness to just accept like bad as the new normal. We don't got healthcare. I guess it's whatever. Shit just sucks. Oh yeah,
It's
we can't own our homes anymore. That sucks.
uh
Oh, we create a student debt crisis that never existed in any other generation. Oh man, that sucks. Nothing we can do about it. We have this fraudulent credit score system that literally didn't exist before 1989. Nothing we can do about it. Motherfucker, they literally create the ills in our society.
right.
And then y'all like, man, nothing we can do about it. Fucking revolt. God damn, it doesn't make any
Right.
sense to me at this point.
It's because, Nick, it's because of this. It's the false sense of security of material things that give you that false sense of security. I have an apartment with a nice bed and a big TV on my wall and a remote control and air conditioner. You get what I'm saying? It's the false sense of security because of that. Is what I think. It's like, well, yeah, that's bad, but it's not bad enough for me to come out of this comfort zone and do anything. In my opinion. Let's get to the next part. Go ahead.
I have something else to add on this story, talking about the global military budget, right? Now let's talk about this because this exposes the liberal establishment. I told you these issues, the issue of policing and military budgets, exposed. Because now, what do Emmanuel Macron? He just won in France, right? What do he always say? He always talk about. He pretends that he's a climate activist. That's what he pretends. That's one thing that. Oh, I'm a progressive. I care about climate. Joe Biden, like, I care about climate. We're gonna do the climate pledges. Shit, I didn't say this story. Guys, not thought about it, right? I gotta find it. I tweeted about it recently. He was like, I care about climate. I'm gonna pledge our military vehicles to be more carbon neutral. He's like, you're gonna make more. You're gonna literally drop more bombs, and you're gonna have imperialism. Laughing. You're gonna have imperialism that's more green. That's what he's saying.
They're laughing at us, Nick. I take that as them laughing at us. I take that them as like yeah, okay, here's this green bomb. Like they're literally not taking anything we have to say seriously because it doesn't make them money. And I mean that's how I look at it. We got a lot of great comments. Let me throw a couple of them up while you're talking. I'll throw a couple of them up while you're talking.
Here's the video. I'm gonna show you guys this because I actually want to do a segment on this. I didn't get a chance. So since I brought it up, because it actually relates to what I'm talking about. Look at this.
United States military, every vehicle is going to be climate friendly. Every vehicle. We're gonna vote. No, I mean it.
What, bro? The military is the largest polluter in human history, and as we continue to spend more on the military, the Navy is polluting water. The military is dumping toxic chemical into the water. They're burning a chemical that you cannot burn. So that shit is burning, going to the air, dropping into our atmosphere, dropping down as rain, going to the water, and people are getting cognitive disabilities because of that.
And this is the response that you get from opponents. Yes. Well, we're just America. We're just one country. Really? Because the American military pollutes more than 130 countries or more. So literally, Nick, if you just cut the U.S. military to zero, if you just do that, that does more for climate than anything than 130 countries doing anything, Nick.
Why you guys think I have my climate approach that I do? I don't like this shit where you guys like stop drinking plastic straws. Fuck, why we gotta make personal sacrifice when the top 1% is responsible for over 70% of global emissions? You got the military, the U.S. military is responsible for more global emissions than like the next 140 countries combined. I got the receipt. I can read it. Like, and this is why this response is laughable. That's why I always got roast Elizabeth Warren. It gave me big Elizabeth Warren green bombs energy when Elizabeth Warren was like, I have a solution for climate change. Let's invest into green bombs.
Oh my God.
And then like Elizabeth Warren fans tried to run with it as long as they went to, but they eventually had to ban it because they was getting roasted by people like us. And then I
wait, they ran with that? They ran with that? Really?
Yes, I could find the receipts if I really did. But they came out with that. Elizabeth Warren fans, I remember because you know how they coordinate like press releases, right? So Elizabeth Warren was like, I got this big idea. Let's have green bonds. I remember seeing Elizabeth Warren sycophants at the time was like, this is a really unique thinking. This is why Elizabeth Warren had the big plans. I was like, you guys are fucking morons. And then they realized they saw like real climate activists and real leftists, like not the fake Elizabeth Warren style leftists. They saw what the real leftist critique of that was, and I saw they started abandoning it because they didn't know, they didn't have the education, right? That's exactly what Biden is doing. And look at that, there's still 8,000 likes. I don't know how many of that is ironic, right? And then
That
you
is
saw the
just
people in the
ridiculous.
background. The people in the background, they applaud. They thought that was great. So this is the liberal response to the climate crisis. We're gonna funnel more money to the military, invest in climate-friendly vehicles. So why did I bring this up? This all relates to this original story, right? Here's the graph about the military spending. Now remember what Biden said, and Bernie endorsed them. The squad endorsed them because they were like, the squad he's gonna get back into the Paris Climate Agreement. And then people like Voss in our debate, he was like, he brought that up. I was like, bro, I don't give a fuck. And they thought I was unhinged because I said that. And I'm like, bro, do you guys ever read that shit? The Paris Climate Agreement was fucking trash because, for one, it didn't account for military spending. And then they said, and I got the receipts, I report on this. In the Paris Climate Agreement, they said they had no funding mechanisms for states who could not reach their global climate emission goals. So that was a big part of the Paris Climate Accord. That you had the big states create this funding mechanism, help countries who can't afford to go green, allow them to go green. They didn't even set that up. It still haven't been set up to this day. Also, not only that, what the 5 biggest countries that signed a deal, only 1 out of the 5 of them was compliant. So all the biggest states wasn't even compliant with the deal in the first place. So on top of that fact that the Paris Climate Agreement was always trash, you had Joe Biden increase fracking, increase drilling on public lands. Military spending is through the roof because of Russia-Ukraine and the Ukraine conflict. That is by design. And the climate crisis is getting worse, but Democrats and progressives are still pretending that this is the party. Noam Chomsky said with a straight fucking face that we got to vote for Joe Biden because of climate change. I gave him props when we talk about his Russia-Ukraine coverage, right? But we gotta give him. He good on that issue. Talk about domestic policy and shit. That motherfucker. That's when you see how out of touch he is. But anyway, I'm not gonna rip him too much, but you gotta see the result of that sheep herding, of that thinking that Joe Biden's gonna be a climate president. Progressives thought I was unhinged. Kind of like, you guys, if you think he gives a fuck about the climate crisis, you are out of your mind, and that's shown by the military spending, and things continue to get worse, right? So, CJ, I'll pass it to you. Actually, one last thing I want to say to wrap the segment up, because I mentioned this before. We have a pro working class perspective. I have a Marxist perspective. I don't want to speak on behalf of everyone else. I tend to do that, but I'm speaking on my behalf here. So I advocate everything in terms of the working class, or everyday people, and the liberal establishment. They purposely try to get you to focus on personal sacrifice. Buy a Tesla. We're gonna get to that motherfucker soon. Buy a Tesla because that will help you fight climate change. But we're not gonna address the military industrial complex that Elon Musk literally has a contract with. I'm fighting climate change. I'm gonna solve climate change by making Teslas, but I'm also gonna join the military industrial complex. We're also gonna make hybrids, the Teslas, these electric cars so expensive, the vast majority of the workers can't buy them, which defeats the entire purpose.
Right.
I used to sell cars, guys. I know how stupid the fucking selling points of this shit was. They're like, buy a hybrid, buy an electric car, it'll save you money on gas. Okay, your hybrid is $5,000 more. You literally had to drive that motherfucker for like 15 years to make up the cost and savings. Not only that, even used hybrids and electric vehicles are expensive. The vast majority of the working class can't afford it. So if you only have like a very small percentage of hybrid vehicles, you're not doing shit. What you have to do to solve this problem is invest in public transportation. Look at
which they don't want to do because they have an automobile lobbyist.
Boom. Exactly, CJ. Exactly. That's exactly what it is. But
they have an automobile lobbyist. This is literally why we don't have a public transit infrastructure across the United States.
China got high-speed rail, guys.
Yeah.
Show like people that are not too familiar with politics, the people who still like rah America, socialism is evil. Show them what high-speed rail is. America media is trying their best to hide what that is to people. I'm still trying to comprehend. Like, wait, you get on this rail, you go from this place.
Yeah.
Like, what?
I mean, I went even in
It's
Europe.
so
I went to
I'm still trying
Europe.
to. I'm
You
still
can
trying to
go
wrap my
from
mind.
country to country. You can go from country to country, like, and theirs could be better, but it's way, way more advanced than over here, and it's terrible, Nick.
Why? Because they build. We
Right.
bomb. They build.
But
Well, they-
why they has capitalism in other places, Nick, for like Germany, but it's still people who have capitalism who don't take it to the extent that the United States does. You get what I'm saying? Like they still don't take it to that extent. And I think that's because the United States is always reaching for the template for American capitalism, which is slavery. And no other country has that template to sort of reach to. So I think that's why. Like just other countries, they're capitalists, but they still have like healthcare for everybody. You know what I mean? Like they don't have these ridiculous hurdles to get unemployment and stuff like that. Like I was in Germany one time, and yeah, unemployment, you just call and then you get the check, and that's it. They look for a job, and yeah, there's no limits, and they don't know year, this and that. They don't have none of that kind of stuff. It's just ridiculous. That's DD.
That's my friend. She's funny. But anyway, I can wrap that segment up with that. I'm gonna give you. Do you have anything you want to share?
I just want to do the Elon. I want to show the Elon.
Yeah, let's
do
do Elon.
Something else before the
that's
Elon?
the main story. Let's do Elon. Yeah, let's go ahead. Let's do that.
Yeah, let's start with just kind of getting reaction from liberal media. So of course, Elon, if you haven't heard, Elon Musk is buying Twitter. So it's pretty much a done deal. They're working out the details, but it's something like $44 billion. I'll bring up the article in just a second. But the first thing I want to show you is, of course, a CNN clip and how they cover it. And I should probably look at some old videos after, when we get to you, I'll look at some old video before he buys it, where you can hear the panic and like, no, we don't want him. And it's like, I thought this was a free market. I thought you were capitalist. Like, what's happening here, people? But let's listen, Nick, to this short video. We're not going to listen to all of it, but just listen to the concern.
Breaking news right now. Elon Musk is buying Twitter for an estimated $44 billion.
Well, you can tell she is upset. Like, I want to rewind, but look at her. She has an attitude already.
I haven't seen the reaction yet. I just seen a little bit of tweets, but I haven't seen like corporate media reaction. So this will be funny.
Yes, watch this.
Breaking news right now. Elon Musk is buying Twitter for an estimated $44 billion. Let's get right to CNN chief media correspondent Brian Stelter and CNN reporter Matt Egan. Okay, let's start with you, Matt. This wasn't going to happen. It was on, it was off, it was off. Now what?
It's on. It's on. This means that the world's richest man is going to effectively control one of the most influential platforms in the internet. This was weeks after Elon Musk, launched this hostile bid to try to acquire Twitter.
You know why they call it a hostile bid? Is that a business term? Because I don't have any idea. It could be a business.
Yeah, what the fuck make it hostile? Them motherfuckers about to make money, bro. Do you know how capitalism
Are
you new?
That's the reason why they took the deal, and they're gonna get to that. That's the reason. It was like capitalists can't turn down money, and that's literally what they say. It's like the board just simply couldn't turn down this offer, even if they didn't want to sell. Like they just couldn't. They could be sued. I'm gonna show you. They could be sued for not their fiduciary duty or something like that if they didn't take the deal.
Absolutely. Like yep. That's a good point.
There was a lot of resistance. A lot of people were betting against it. Now the board has come out and they say that they've reached a deal. Elon's going to buy the company for $54.20 in cash. It values Twitter at about $44 billion. The deal is expected to close later this year. In a lot of ways,
Nick, this is a side story. How was he able to get together $44 billion in a matter of weeks? But we can't get together. Go ahead.
Look how ridiculous capitalism is. That's enough to end homelessness, bro. $40 billion. I think the number 30 billion, isn't it? To end homelessness.
I don't remember. We always forget that particular.
Yeah, it's like
number.
Something fucking ridiculous. I think it's higher now because that study was done.
It could be higher, yeah.
That's me. You guys got to remember that study was done a few years ago, so there are way more homeless people now. So that number probably is like 35 billion. That doesn't mean just talking shit. What's funny about the liberal meltdown is like they You guys are capitalists, and when you understand how capitalists operate and what they do, what they're talking about sounds inherently ridiculous. For one, for starters, y'all motherfuckers own Teslas. Why y'all pretending y'all like anti Elon Musk when you guys are his biggest supporters? I don't own a fucking Tesla. I have no fucking ambitions, nor do I give a fuck about owning a Tesla. You motherfuckers are his supporters. So you guys see they create fake ass theater. You guys think you think they motherfuckers really stressed out about this shit? I don't think they are. I think this is a more theater used to distract people from the shit that we're supposed to be talking about. And because Elon Musk is just one of many. So he's talking about
one of many.
This billionaire gonna own this on social media compared to the Saudi Arabian billionaires and BlackRock. What? These motherfuckers got some people propaganda. I see progressives tweet. I see some progressives outraged about this. Elon Musk. I saw Neil Turner made
really.
Elon Musk tweet.
You got to bring some of this up, Nick, because I've been trying to find like these people. Oh, it pops up, so it's just kind of random. Yeah, I've been trying to find this stuff. Like, who is really mad about this,
bro? No,
like I can be like, I don't really care. I don't really care for Elon, but I can understand if you say that. But you like going hard at this, really?
No, bro, I can find you a blooper reel. I can literally just search for his name. I can find you some fucking tweets and show you how these motherfuckers been reacting. And I'm like, the establishment got you guys so brainwashed. Y'all actually fighting for the lesser two evils for billionaires. Like, not even for voting no more. Y'all motherfuckers, you guys evolved your lesser two evils game. You're like, all right, I like this billionaire. I like the BlackRock billionaire more than Elon Musk. You motherfuckers drive his cars. Like, what?
That's what I was going to bring up right here. This one right here, it says, funny that these people are somewhat outraged at billionaires buying and controlling Twitter when Bill Clinton contributed to this very problem with the Telecommunications Act that was passed. That is a great point. And they're mad at, like you were saying, Nick, in this comment. Thank you for the comment. It's saying they're mad at this billionaire buying entertainment, but they're not mad at billionaires owning news. Please wake me up when you're serious. Wake me up when you're serious about this shit. He's buying entertainment, like Twitter. But you're not upset that billionaires own news and own our politicians, though.
CJ, my dude, there's people at the Washington Post that was melting down about this. Like, oh my God. Your boss is Jeff Bezos. Your boss literally bought the fucking Washington Post. Bill Gates, y'all homie, y'all liberal billionaire darlings, fucking is the largest private farmland owner. But they're like, oh my God, Elon Musk, this is a sign of a society going backwards. How a billionaire can just buy something? Yes. Motherfucker, welcome to Marxism. Yes. Welcome aboard. You guys want to subscribe to Revolutionary Blackout? We can watch CJ's series. We can do an intro to socialism. Welcome aboard, because this is what we've been saying.
Exactly.
This is what we've been saying. But you got people that they are cool with Jeff Bezos. And the funny thing is, now these people are cheering for Amazon unionization. But Amazon is fighting and doxing, attacking. They are literally hiding. They're hiring like Oppo research specialists, like detectives, to find dirt on people who are organizing. They're literally going after unions, all at the order of Jeff Bezos. But they are okay with Jeff Bezos, but they are pretending they are okay with Chris Moss. Nah, motherfucker, you gotta choose one or another, bro. It's either Team Bezos or you're for the workers. But when I'm watching
him on these interviews, Nick, I'm like, these people trying to be all nice. They hate his fucking guts. They hate his guts that they got to bring on this black guy which is one of the things I love about him. He like, oh, he ain't one of them like, oh, I'm about to go around and tap dance for these white people. I ain't about to dressed up. He come out just how he is. He comes out like dripped out. Like, hey, I'm coming to your shit just like this. That's what I love about him. And it makes them afraid. If you watch some of them interviews, like Tucker Carlson, for example, to me, you can see the fear in Tucker Carlson over Chris Moss. Like, you can see that he's fearful. And maybe that's why he has that real, like, it's a real disturbing laugh. Like, it's disturbing in that interview.
I want to share this. I shared this before. It'd be real quick because I can't help. It's because I love that they put. I don't know why they did this, because I'm gonna share this shit forever. This is fucking funny. So I've been friends with Chris Moss for a while. I was on his show. So I love how you bring out the fact that he's not doing the shit the progressive way, where you just follow the leader, follow the
No.
Justice Democrats, fall in line with whatever the Democratic Party is doing. He's like, nah, bro, we doing our own shit. We are. It's not me, it's we. That literally tweet that. Not, you guys focus on me. It's about us, about we. Look, that's Justice follows, and yeah, the dude was like, no, he's listening to the people. And I literally brought up, I was on his show. I was on his old show that I think is discontinued now. But we had a great conversation. It was super fun. I think we had him on our show before as well.
Yeah, we had him. RJ had him when RJ was a part.
So,
RJ, I was just looking at the interview the other day. Yeah.
So our community was having fun. And this dude, I love this response. He said, yeah, he did something historical that's never been done before. Who do you think he was listening to? The libs and their incrementalism? Who do you guys think them motherfucker got his tactics? Like, what theory do you think he listened to? Do you think he listened to Rachel Maddow? Hell, do you think he listened to AOC's theories? Or is he listening to real working organizers, right? So we can get back to the story. I just love bringing that up.
No, that was a good that was a good little tangent there. But let's finish. I didn't realize we didn't listen to most of this. Let's listen to what they say. Brian Stelter, he always has a bunch of like just foot in his mouth, but let's listen.
Is he even being serious here? He is being serious, and now they have a deal.
He's been critical of Twitter for quite a long time now. How do we get to this point now that it's his?
Well, number one, he showed he had the financing a few days ago. Yeah. He started to woo large shareholders, large investors, and that's why over the weekend, Twitter's board had to sit down with him, strike a deal overnight that finally was announced a few minutes ago. So how do we get to this point? Well, here is someone who was able to prove he could actually do this, prove he could bring the company private, and now, barring any hiccups, it is his. He does say in a statement here, free speech is the bedrock of a functioning democracy, and Twitter is the digital town square.
Why they making this shit sound like so complicated? This is capitalism. This is what capitalists do.
Right. Right. But the thing is, it's them. It's them. The regular people who is not in the liberal world, this is not that big of a story. Oh, some rich guy bought some shit. That happens literally every single day. Like Nick is saying, like it happens all the time. But if you're a liberal and live in that world of propaganda where Twitter is literally one of your guardrails, it literally is. It got Trump off and it's taken off other people, right? Now this person is saying he's not down with the team. He's just going to let this shit be free. They are the ones this is their reaction that we're seeing, Nick.
Yeah, so I want to add this part because I just thought about this because based on what you're saying. Look at this coverage here. Because obviously they had this vendetta against Elon Musk because Elon Musk is a culture warrior who played the red-blue game. That's why they love platforming him. Like they don't love this shit because he's actually a fucking threat. I take that to the grave, right? So why do you guys think they covering this? And they're like, oh my God, Elon Musk buying Twitter is such a bad sign for our society. Imagine the effect that would have if they did the same coverage about BlackRock and many of these Wall Street firms buying rental properties and making it so we cannot be homeowners. They're artificially inflating the cost of living and the cost of housing because they're buying up private property. This is the new neoliberal order. You will own nothing and you will be happy about it. You got fucking venture capitalists buying up rental properties left and right, driving out ordinary people and completely ruining any chance of them being a homeowner, also while driving up rent prices. Isn't that more newsworthy than this? Imagine they cover that with the same intensity that they are covering this and the effect that would have.
Right.
You'll be ready like, oh shit, general strike time. General strike. But they're not going to do that. They're going to talk about some Twitter bullshit that actually fucking means nothing. I promise you it don't. It don't fucking mean anything. Because if you think Elon Musk is going to stand out for the anti-imperialist voices who was censored on Twitter, do you guys think Elon Musk is going to stand for the BDS activists who had their First Amendment rights stripped? Do you think Elon Musk is going to do anything about the protesters who literally had their right to protest illegally robbed in red states? These are real examples of First Amendment crackdowns of our state, not this deeply unserious social media shit. And there are a lot of right-wing people just trying to pretend like this is the shit. This is the fucking free speech battlefield. No, motherfucker. They are banning black authors. in mass
Right.
right now because of the critical race theory crackdown. That is leading to black people who don't even write about race. They will like make a story about a black person. Race will be about it. Oh, critical race theory, you're banned. They're banning. There have been schools that have been banning black authors because they're afraid of getting fined by the state. So like there will be people that they're like, I'm not even someone who write about critical race theory, and I got censored because they were afraid because they saw a black author. Oh, you're done. That BDS and the crackdown by the police state in states like Florida where they effectively trying to make protesting legal. These are the crackdowns on free speech that actually matter. This theater don't mean shit. This theater don't mean shit. Cause I promise you, Elon Musk is not standing for none of those people. He's not standing for leftists.
Right.
He's standing for the right wing culture war machine. That's all what it's for. So someone can say, "Oh, I hate gay people." That's it. He's not standing for an anti-imperialist. He's not standing for anti-capitalist. You think he's gonna step in the new Cold War against China and be like, "Yo, I actually want to help RT. RT been banned and censored. I'm gonna support Russia today." You think he's gonna do that? There's no fucking way. No fucking way. So I'll tell you, as someone who has my perspective, that's my like take on it. We can fit in the video, but that's kind of why I stand. That this video is just ridiculous. Like they pretending like this is some fucking real shit that's going on.
Oh, this probably get a top views on their channel today. But let's play.
Bro, this is killing. Everyone's killing with this shit. I don't know why people care about this shit so much.
I have some other clips, Nick. Don't worry.
Go ahead.
I did see like everybody just all. I've never seen a story. You know how a story come out and it takes a couple of days. No, Nate. Like it's like 5 like clip. I'm like these clips, people just dropping clips. But let's listen.
Of humanity are debated. So in his mind, this is very serious and has been all along. He says he wants to make Twitter better than ever by, quote, enhancing the product with new features, making the algorithms open source to increase trust, defeating the spam bots, he says, and authenticating all humans. So he is approaching this in the same way he approaches Tesla and SpaceX. He's on a mission. He wants to save the digital planet. And in his mind, Twitter is critical to that.
Except that we're all more affected by this than we are SpaceX and Tesla. This affects all of us in terms of misinformation. How?
What? Why are we even going there? Like, this affects all of us with the misinformation. In a free country, why is that your perspective? It's not great. We're freer now that we can say what we want. That should be your reaction. But your reaction is that you want more clamps and restrictions. It is so bizarre. But let's listen some more.
How will this change our lives? And when he says open it up to free speech, does that allow more misinformation on the platform?
I think we're going to have to see what he does and exactly what
fucking
rules
argument
he
you
decides
can
to follow
make.
or not follow.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say something. I'll keep it going.
I don't want to interrupt it too
and
much.
State and federal laws all around the world that apply to these platforms. He's going to have to follow at least some of those rules, I would expect. So I think it remains to be seen.
Yeah, it doesn't. He hasn't really released any details, any specifics yet, and he hasn't really had to about what this vision of making Twitter, more about free speech. How is he going to pull that off? We don't know.
Yeah, he said in his offer letter that Twitter needs to be transformed as a private company. There are a lot of people on the right, Brian, who believe that as he talks about free street speech, and he says he hopes even his worst critics remain on Twitter because that is what free speech means. What does this mean for the former president who's been kicked off of the platform?
And that spirit, which is on screen right now, that is actually that's the right spirit, right? He wants.
Bro, you want to know the funny thing is? I'm gonna add this part real quick.
Go ahead.
You want to know the funny thing is? Trump was like telling his people like, "Yo, you guys need to get vaccinated. The vaccine is our accomplishment." And I was like, "Whoa, I didn't expect that." So Trump was like, I remember he was at one rally and then they started booing him. He's like, "Guys, what are you doing? Why you gotta let Biden steal the accomplishment of the vaccine? This is the Trump vaccine." Now, so I'm telling you guys, like, this backfired on them. Imagine if you had Trump on Twitter right when the vaccine rolled out. He would be like, "No, the vaccine's good. The vaccine's good." So you see how it backfired on him.
Right.
But that's not the only reason I want him on. I think you shouldn't censor him. He's deeply unserious, but it's just funny. Like you need to have someone who's that influential. He need to be on the public square. The idea of taking out like one of the political leaders off the public square, that is so crazy.
Bizarre. It's bizarre that people think that you have a public square when you take that person off. Like, do you understand that this is really just controlled square. This is not really a public square. If you're doing that, it's just a controlled. But let's try to finish this. I think there's like a minute left. Let's see.
To be in the debate and to be on Twitter and to be heard. And what that means for Donald Trump and for other politicians who get booted off this platform, that's going to be a big question on day one whenever he actually walks into the office and takes control of this platform. He can, in theory, rewrite all of those rules. When I refer to laws about hate speech and about pornography on platforms, there's not a law that forbids Twitter from having Donald Trump on. That was a company choice, a company policy chance. I suspect those policies are going to change. When reading through the lines of this press release, the board decided it had to take this offer. The board did not want to take this offer necessarily. They looked for other buyers, as every indication. They now have to hand over the keys to Elon Musk unless there's a snag. I do suspect we're going to see politicians who were booted off get back on. Whether that's actually a good thing for Donald Trump, completely different question.
Yeah.
Whether it's actually a positive for him to be back on Twitter, completely different question.
Why wouldn't it just be a positive? He would
To
then,
have him back in the news cycle around the world.
Meaning for him, why wouldn't it be positive for him? To be back, to have a huge megaphone, to maybe run for president with his huge megaphone, this would be a plus for Donald Trump.
You could also make the case that Donald Trump suddenly back in
like why is just
the news very visible in a way that he hasn't been would remind people.
They sound like
exactly why
extremists to me. Like
they are because they want the narrative to be controlled so they can be the ones that said it.
Like I know we joke and we say we radical, whatever, but I really don't like. We're just rational. Like honestly, that's what it really is. Like the people who are in charge, these CNN goons, like take all your perceptions away if you have any. Right? If you have any perceptions about who is left, who is right, who's a Nazi, who's a fascist, who believes in First Amendment, who don't, take all those perceptions away and listen to this segment just neutral, like as if you don't know these people, and listen to what they're saying. Like this sounds so extreme and so radical. This is fascism, the merger between corporation and state. They just nonchalantly talking about how a social media company like Twitter, who coordinates with our politicians who have hearings at our Congress, talking about, I agree with you, state senator. Yeah, we're gonna help implement these censorship campaigns that you want us to. That's literally them saying, okay, I'm gonna take an order for the government in order to censor their enemies. That is quite literally the merger of corporation and state. This is literally textbook fascism. But people are so brainwashed by their civility politics, their presentation. They got suits, they got lighting that's better than ours, they got different camera angles, they in high definition, they're on TV, and then they're like, I guess they got error credibility. But if you listen to like random YouTubers saying the shit they're saying, I'm listening to this. I'm like, this is radical. This is extreme, and I don't know. Like this is mass formation psychosis of the highest order that people can listen to this shit and not see them as the psychopath, extremist capitalists that they are. But that's my rant on that. I actually have another segment I think I'm gonna do after this because it actually ties in because I want to talk about how Biden and Obama now they are the arbiters of misinformation. That's a segment.
Yeah, that is great. No, but let's listen to this last part because he essentially says at this end here, because it's about to end in about 30 seconds. He says at the end here, do we really want to go to a place that is truly free? He really says this, Nick. Let's listen.
There's no way.
Why he lost his election and why he was booted from office. So look, who knows? I think that's an example of a broader question for Twitter, which is if you get invited to something where there are no rules, where there is total freedom for everybody, do you actually want to go to that party? Or are you?
Do you actually want to go to a party where you have true freedom and no rules?
They just saying the quiet
Is that
part
something you want to go, or don't you want it to be controlled so you feel safe?
Isn't this what they tell us that people in China or the DPRK believe? Like the things they tell us about this authoritarian communist state they create in their mind. This is what they say they believe. They say, China's just evil state that just want to control information. They don't want you to have freedom. You literally just said that's your ideology. So how can anyone with this ideology criticize China or any other country? And this is the propaganda, and this is how they propagandize people that we need to break past. Like, so if you think that the United States is somehow got any sort of freedom that any other country don't have, You are delusional. I explained many times. We don't have a First Amendment. We don't have a Second Amendment. We don't have a Fourth Amendment. We don't have a Fifth Amendment. If you guys think we do, I got plenty of examples that tell you otherwise. Look, think about Amir Locke. Think about Breonna Taylor. Think about the fact that police can shoot you for having a gun. How you got a Second Amendment right if the police can shoot you and they're like, oh, okay, probable cause, he had a gun. That defeats the entire purpose of this quote unquote amendment that these conservatives think we have. But they're not used to a leftist pro-gun argument. They used to fight against Hitler.
No.
But you see,
that's
when
why
you
I
have
love
black
seeing
leftists,
it.
when you have black leftists who are pro-gun, they quickly for gun reform. Look at the NRA, the Google in the NRA and the Black Panthers. You see how the right wing respond to us? But anyway,
they're for gun reform for us or gun constraints for us. Yeah, right. But to me, it really it talks about it really reveals guilt. It's a guilt complex because it's like, why are you concerned when this set of people have that same right unless you know you did something wrong to them and you're afraid that they're going to retaliate? So it's an indication of a fear complex because they're not fearful of some other race of people, ethnicity of people getting a hold or having these gun rights. It's specifically when it came to black people that they have this fear about. Oh, we're getting a lot of good comments. We're getting the comments from Twitch today. So
yeah,
good to
I
see
love,
that.
I love our community. Love our community. A lot of great comments. We appreciate it. If you guys enjoying the stream, please like, share, subscribe. Also support on Patreon as well. But subscribe more than anything. All our content is free.
Yeah, that's what we want. Subscribe.
So because we just want to spread our message. We got the Anti-Imperialist Summit this weekend, and I'm actually kind of nervous because you saw what they did after the Jones Strike Summit.
Yeah,
bro. Yeah. I'm actually like, I literally think about that the other day. Like, man, they about to fuck us up after this summit, man. Yeah. I don't know what they're gonna do, but
especially because what we're talking about, they ain't gonna have us talking about the history of the CIA. Fuck no. Yeah, we gotta have that shit backed up because they're gonna be like, the history of the CIA. Nope. Technical difficulties.
So make sure you guys subscribe to our mailing list, our Substack, because that way you can get access to our other streams. Once the motherfuckers get pulled. That's why I also not like I got this summit gonna be a little bit more chopped up, which is better because instead of having a long string get pulled, we may get like that was a 3-hour string that was pulled, maybe a 4-hour string. So all right, so that's our backup plan. Yeah. Also, anyway, let's get to this. I want to do this segment because it also kind of pairs with the segment the ending that you just did. So, the Biden administration and the neoliberals, as you saw by Brian Stelter in this segment, is actually paired together perfectly. They are taking it upon themselves to limit your freedom to fight misinformation, which is probably one of the scariest new developing psyops that is coming out right now. Because we were talking about how they've been rolling back on our freedoms, rolling back on our freedom of the press. They merging the corporate state and together. The corporation and state is merging together. The big tech industry is joining empire and cracking down on the people who are resisting capitalism and neoliberalism in the global South, like Nicaragua. We covered this on the show. The Sandinistas was fucking censored and pulled from Facebook and Instagram. So this is the merging because they had hearings. And the funny thing is I watched a little bit of it. And it was literally one of the most surreal things you would ever see. It was a bunch of corporations and big tech people that was like apologizing to Congress. Like the liberal Congress people like grilling them for not banning enough people. And then they were like, oh, I'm sorry, fucking Elizabeth Warren, I apologize. Yeah, you're right. Fucking fill in the blank, Nancy Pelosi. Well, they were like being grilled by these people. And then they were like, okay, we actually cracked down more. And I'm like, bro, they're literally broadcasting the merging. They're taking orders from the state, and then they crack down on whoever they tell them to crack down on because they don't what? They don't want to be regulated. So when you're getting called to Congress, they're like, all right, I don't want to be regulated. I don't want whatever you want. I'm good. All right, you want to say all those socialists over there? I got you. That's what they're doing. So now the Biden administration and liberals are taking it upon themselves to be the arbiter of information. Now, once again, this is not conspiracy. They're saying this out in the open. This is Jen Psaki, our favorite on this program.
We love her.
Let me mute my mic. But this is They'll just saying the quiet part out loud. Shout out to Samira Khan for the video. Let me mute my audio here.
The Surgeon General has said that misinformation about COVID amounts to a public health crisis.
Yeah.
I'm wondering, regardless of ownership, would the White House be interested in working with Twitter like it has in the past to continue to combat this kind of misinformation? Or are we in a different part of the pandemic where that kind of partnership is no longer necessary?
Well, I think we engage regularly with all social media platforms about steps that can be taken. That has continued, and I'm sure it will continue. But there are also reforms that we think Congress could take, and we would support taking, including reforming Section 230, enacting antitrust reforms, requiring more transparency. And the president is encouraged by the bipartisan support for or engagement in those efforts.
That's Jim
Bipartisan.
Psaki.
They literally broadcasting their fascism. Once again, the merger between corporation and state. They are controlling the flow of information. The places are monopolies, and they are taking control of that to control the flow of information because they know they have no narrative control. And I'm gonna share this one quickly because you want to know what's even funnier. And we all know they're the biggest source of misinformation, right? Biden, Obama, their administration was caught lying about Afghanistan. Yeah, that was about them. You know that report when it said U.S. officials in the Pentagon and the highest level of government was lying about the Afghanistan war. The years were literally in the Barack Obama years. And there were some Trump years, but a lot of it was under Obama and Barack Obama and Joe Biden. On top of all the other lies they told. It would take me literally 20-25 minutes to go through them all. You mean Joe Biden, who literally had to drop out because he got caught plagiarizing? The Joe Biden who said he didn't cut Social Security? The Joe Biden who said he was arrested in South Africa marching with Nelson Mandela? Imagine Donald Trump said any of these lies. He said he was a civil rights activist when he literally a segregationist. he lied.
And nobody bats an eye. They don't bat an eye. They're just the white supremacists can say whatever they want, I guess.
During the campaign, he lied about his support of the Iraq war. He was like, yo, we was misled. I was warning people about the Iraq war and how Bush was lying. No, he literally held hearings. Him and Anthony Blinken held hearings in order to manufacture consent for the Iraq war because they will only bring on pro-war voices. So he lied. He just blatantly lied about it. And then they campaigned about it. They lied about that. So this is the people who are now be in charge of misinformation. Barack Obama has embarked on a campaign to fight against misinformation and disinformation on Thursday. He will speak at Stanford University to warn that the spread of online falsehoods has eroded the foundation of democracy. These people, the straight up audacity. I'm gonna see if I can find the Afghanistan thing. Afghanistan. I reported on this a long time ago. There are a few stories. It's not really hard to find. Barack Obama lied to the American people about Afghanistan. Obama administration hid the truth about the war's end. Obama lied to Americans about the withdrawal of that. I'll try to find the one. I think they call it the Pentagon Papers. Here it is. Here, I think this is the one I'm looking for. This is the one I'm looking for. We don't have to go through it too much. I just want you guys the general one. Here's lying by Bush and Obama over Afghanistan in this era's Pentagon Papers. I wish I could find my original source I found. Maybe this might be it. Here, is this it? Like this is the one I reported on a long time ago. Hopefully, yeah, I'm ad locked. So this is
it.
Yeah, the Afghanistan Papers go over the Barack Obama administration, the George Bush administration, lying about the Afghanistan war, lying about the goals. They were lying about who they was fighting. They were lying, like they will do press releases where they was like, yeah, we're making big gains. We attacked this village and we confirmed that they had ties to Al Qaeda, blah, blah, right? But then, like, people investigating, like, no, there were civilians you just killed. Then they will never retract it. They'll just move on to the next thing, right? That was done over and over. That was just one example of the lies that were told during Afghanistan. That guy is now in charge of, like, who is the arbiter of truth. How hilarious is that?
That's the capitalist class. He's the arbitrator of the truth. That seems in line to me, right? I mean, they're not going to put anybody that's going to be against what they want. So, but listen, I do have another video because Nick. So I was trying to find a video where it shows the liberals' hair on fire. So I showed you that CNN clip where their hair wasn't on fire, but you can clearly see the fascistic, like, sort of speaking about the topic, right? This video here, Deadline White House with Nicole Wallace. I used to watch this show, believe it or not, when I was a liberal. I thought it was a good show, and I was completely crazy now that I look back at it. But listen to how they talk about it. Now, this lady they have as on the panel, she was on MSNBC talking about this before it happened, and she was like, "No, this can't happen." The way she was talking about it. Now look at her face now that it's been done. So let's listen to this. It's probably like 2 or 3 minutes.
Some big breaking news to tell you about this afternoon that sort of spans social media, business, and politics too. Twitter has announced that it is official. The company has agreed to be sold to Elon Musk. The billionaire businessman and the wealthiest person in the world right now will purchase all Twitter shares, valued in total at approximately $44 billion, which will make Twitter a private company. Musk said in a statement today, in part, quote, "Free speech is the bedrock of a functioning democracy, and Twitter is the digital town square, where matters vital to the future of humanity are debated." Joining our conversation is Politico White House editor and MSNBC contributor Sam.
I mean, oh my God, I was gonna puke when I saw this lady on the far right. Boy, she is terrible. I don't understand why they keep bringing. Yes.
Oh, guys,
yes,
I'm from Missouri, man. You guys already heard me rip Claire, but I'm gonna let the video play. But you gotta know I got fucking shit for Claire.
Yeah. Oh, I gotta hear it because I forgot that you're from the same state. Because she is terrible. But listen,
she lost to Josh Hawley for a reason, guys.
Yes. Oh, and the lady in the middle is the one who was on a few days earlier, who was speaking as if this wasn't going to happen, and it better not pretty much happen. But let's listen now.
Sam Stein, a New York Times contributing writer, host of the Sway and Pivot podcast, Kara Swisher. Claire's still with us. Okay, so Kara, last time you were here, I was trying to understand who Elon Musk is and was, and I kind of went home and tried to do some homework. Now I still wonder who he is, but now I wonder what he's going to do. I think everyone, certainly in politics, wants to know, does Trump come back? Tell me what this means for that town square, as Musk describes it.
You see how they keep bringing that up? That's the fear, Nick. They keep telling you what they fear because they keep bringing it up. But Trump, how does Trump keep entering the conversation? Because they fear he's coming back, because they know if this guy come back, Nick, you know how terrible you got to be to lose against Donald Trump? You know how terrible you got to be to know you're terrible and you're going to lose against Donald Trump? They know they're going to lose against Donald Trump if he wins, and they know if he's allowed back on this platform, he's just going to literally overnight go to like 100 million followers literally in a few hours. And this scares them because they don't have, Barack Obama was that person for them. They don't have anybody like that. There's literally nobody on the bench that has that sort of like appeal on their side. And that's what they're afraid of.
They think Pete Buttigieg is going to be that guy.
Oh, God.
Swear to God, they did power ranking. I was like, I don't cover none of that shit, but I saw it. They like power ranking for 2024, and it was like number 3, Kamala Harris, number 2, Pete Buttigieg. I was like, what? But anyway, I decided not to cover it. Number 1 was Joe Biden because they said they didn't think he was going to step down. So in this article, outside of Joe Biden, they have Pete Buttigieg number 1. That's the guy who's going to take over the neoliberal establishment, according to the editor who decided to post that horrific opinion piece.
They need to check his approval numbers. I mean, they're not as bad as Joe Biden and Kamala, but they're pretty terrible.
Well, it's a private company and he could do whatever he wants. A lot of what Twitter had issues with was, as a public company, it had to respond to all kinds of things, including shareholders, people coming forward. It has a business that's not very strong, and it also has an issue around its stock, which was quite quite flat since it went public. And so it's always struggled to make money especially in the shadow of Facebook. Now it's got a private owner who does whatever he wants, and therefore it will be whatever he wants in that regard. And his other shareholders, of which there are a few, I'm sure, and banks and others that will also be part of the funding of this thing.
Kara, if you sift through his public statements about free speech, do you expect Donald Trump and COVID disinformation and election lies to be back on Twitter by this time tomorrow?
No. Let's sort them out. Donald Trump, I think he will let him back on Twitter. He's talked about timeouts for people who make trouble, not permanent bans. I think right after.
So unserious, Nick. Go ahead. Did you want to comment?
No, I was talking shit.
Yeah, it's so ridiculous. Like, do we have anything for misinformation? That is not a thing in a free society where you have free speech. That is not a thing. We already have something built in to the system that provides for somebody that says, yeah, you have free speech, but you can't yell fire. You can't, you know what I mean? That's already built in. There's no another layer we need. Go ahead.
They literally, and Rachel Maddow and his network pushed Russiagate, right? and said that Donald Trump was a Putin puppet while he was doing coups in Venezuela, a Russian ally, while he was directly opposing Russia and Syria, right? While he was literally arming Ukrainian rebels, while he was literally launching cyber attacks on Russia. The CIA launched cyber attacks that Trump approved on Russia, and they were smearing Trump as a Russian Putin plant, despite literally Trump's foreign policy, which was as hard against Russia as Bill Clinton, which was one of the reasons why Russiagate was always full of shit. He literally was one of the people that were pushing the new Cold War, right?
But because he didn't want to talk like them. He didn't want to talk like them, in no military terms. He didn't want to speak about him. He didn't play that game.
Now think about it though, because they pushed that lie. It was proven to they put on MSNBC. They brought up the P tape that will literally debunk completely as a lie, right? And they report that as fact. Are they going to get pulled? No, because they are weaponizing misinformation against the populace. Like, we are the arbiters of information. Remember what Mika said? Mika herself said, our job is to control how people think, and they don't want anyone else doing it. They don't want anything. They don't want anyone else doing it.
That's our job. I remember that. And she said it so flippantly.
After January 6th, when Trump was thrown off for inciting violence on Twitter and also Facebook, he objected to that. And he said that we should still listen to him, even if he did this. I guess he didn't assume it was inciting violence. People who ran Twitter did at the time, including Jack Dorsey. And so it'll just depend on what he wants to do. So he probably will. It's in his nature to want people to be able to argue with each other. And so he probably will. The other stuff, I don't know. This is going to be a really tough thing for Elon to deal with, because a lot of this is different. A lot of things are different from other things. And so moderation on this platform is very, very difficult. And you can't have a public town square that's chaos at the same time. And so that'll be bad for business.
It's chaos if you're free. That's literally how this class looks at it. They look at freedom as chaos. That's what they look at it as. Let's finish up, and then just like a few more seconds of this.
Kara, some of the conversations we've had over,
I really want to hear what Claire says. That's what I want to get to, Nick.
It always so bad.
Facebook allowed itself to be hijacked by Russian disinformation have centered around, what you've helped us understand are sort of structural impediments to keeping the junk out, and it's a lack of regulation. Do you think the fact that the right is so enamored by Elon Musk means that if they control Congress, there may never be any regulation of social media?
Oh my God. That's a serious question. That you want more regulation of Twitter, and that is a concern. That is so bizarre to me, Nick.
Once again, let's frame this what this actually is. This is a group of extremists, guys. This is extreme rhetoric. Think about what this is. This is a giant influential reporter that is calling for the censorship of for political enemies. And they just say, like, excuse me, they say nonchalantly. They would say stuff like, yeah, I think this person should be banned. There's some guy who was saying, oh, I think Jimmy should be banned because it's COVID stances. I think Joe Rogan should be banned. And then they're waging that They're waging war against other people, not by debunking their claims, like you would think a reporter or any sort of a communicator of ideas would do. They're saying just deplatform them. This is an insane extremist rhetoric and ideology. And people are just we've been slow walked into this so much, people don't even see it as extreme as it actually is. Like, imagine like if you have like this quote unquote liberal democracy, right? Racial preconceptions, and you saying, yo, there's this mass corporate alliance with the state that is also allied with the reporters that's calling for the mass censorship of people, and they're actually successful in their campaigns. You'd be like, they don't got free speech. That'll be your first reaction. But our state tells us from day one, you got free speech. We got free press. We got free press. We got free speech. You can protest. But then people are like, all right, I believe you. But then it be out in plain sight examples of that not being the case. But you were told that from day one, and you're like, okay, I think this is true. Even though there's not a lot of evidence of that. We don't have these Bill of Rights you guys think we have. We have temporary allowances. Sometimes let you use that shit if you're not being too threatening. But if you cross the fucking line at Julian Assange, they'll fuck you up. Right.
We're the country that literally we're the country that preach freedom, and then we have an enslaved population. We're the country that preaches, law and order, and then we've murdering an indigenous population. We're the country that talk about freedom and democracy as we're bombing black and brown. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's never been a time where what America project, we're actually that at the time we're projecting it. That's never been the case.
Yeah, so I want you guys to understand, if you have criticisms of how China runs the country on some authoritarian issue, I have personally my criticism. I don't like some of the censorship they do. I think that's unnecessary. But if you have those criticisms of China, I want to implant this in your brain to realize how crazy we are in comparison, right? China has like 3 times more people than we do, over 1 billion people, but we imprison way more people than them. We imprison 1/4 of the world's prison population, despite us having 1/3 less of the people than China. So I'm asking you guys, despite any criticism you may have of China or any other state, we are the extremist example. This authoritarian state you think exists in China, we lock up more people, mostly nonviolent. Why white collar criminals walk? Who's really free? We can continue the clip.
Yeah. So let's finish this clip. Let's get to. I just want to get to Claire.
Yeah, I'm actually very curious.
I don't know about that. I think they have issues around it. There's a lot of bipartisan agreement. It's not necessarily around free speech. It gets sucked up in the axle of free speech right now. And I think a lot of it's about data and data privacy, and what you should know about what you're doing and your consent and consolidation and power. Remember, Donald Trump also sort of attacked the tech industry at the same time a lot of Democrats are. And so you see a lot of bipartisanship about this issue. It just depends on what. When you move away from the First Amendment free speech debates, of which there's nothing going to happen because the government can't regulate free speech, you do get to these data issues, which are much more important in my mind. And it does begin to make you understand it's about power and not necessarily anything else. And that's where I tend to focus.
Okay, we can stop there. Actually, I looked ahead, and actually, she doesn't say nothing in this clip. In this 5 minutes clip, she said something in the segment, but they didn't clip it in this particular.
It's just there to look pretty,
right? But can you tell us about Claire? Just a quick 30-second, 1 minute. What were you gonna say about her? Because every time I hear her talk, like maybe Hillary Clinton really just the sight of her, I just can't.
Yeah, she was. The funny thing is, she lost when, just to show you guys how right-wing Claire McCaskill is, she lost to Josh fucking Hawley, who was horrible, who trash. He was a political novice. I was watching him run. I was like, bro, this dude's a clown, bro. And then he won. I was like, bro, I can't believe Claire actually choked this shit away. But I was happy. I actually laughed because Claire was running to his right. She was running as a Trump Democrat. And her argument was, and she used to run campaign ads where she was like, if you want the wall to be built, because I actually agree, we need a hardline immigration stance. She's like, look at what we did under Barack Obama. Like, she would bring up the stuff we would use as attacks. She was like, look at what we did under Barack Obama. We was deporting shit out of people. Why do people pretend Democrats are like weak on immigration. That was because she was trying to win over the rednecks. So her argument was Josh Hawley is an amateur, he's a rookie, and he is so incompetent. You are less likely to get the Trump border wall than if you elect her. She wasn't, and then she was actively in opposition of the Show Me Cannabis movement, who won. We just recently got a victory for medical marijuana. She was against increasing the minimum wage. She was like, well, at least to a living wage. She was saying some bullshit like, oh, we need a $10, $11 an hour. That we literally, she was against the living wage, right? She was against Medicaid expansion. On our ballot initiatives, we passed a ballot initiative for marijuana. We passed a ballot initiative for increasing the minimum wage. We increased a ballot initiative to expand Medicaid. And that same year, she lost to Josh Hawley. That same year, we had a blue wave. So she ran one of the most horrific campaigns because she was trying to run to Josh Hawley's right, but Josh Hawley's better than her. Because the art for centrists, I want you guys to understand this. If there are two right-wing candidates, they're not going to vote for the candidate that agrees with them less on social issues. If you're gonna get the same shit, I'm at least gonna vote for the motherfucker that agree with me on abortion, thinking as a right winger, right? If you're gonna get the same economic plan, you might as well vote for the motherfucker that at least agree with you on gay marriage.
Right.
That's why their strategy. I'm not thinking like for myself. I'm thinking in their view.
Right.
This is why their strategy is incoherent. This idea I'm gonna run fiscally conservative, but I'm gonna be socially liberal, but somehow these Christian, evangelicals gonna vote for me.
It's not gonna attract them. It's not gonna attract them because if you flipped it, you might be able to. You will be able to attract more of them if you flipped it, just like you said. But like that's just ridiculous.
But you see, the goal. Her goal wasn't to win. I was telling people this too. You see, look where she at. She lost, and then she got MSNBC contract. The same way Heidi Heitkamp also lost that. She was also a notorious centrist, right? And then she became a lobbyist that fought against Biden's Build Back Better agenda. How hilarious is that? A former Democrat, she loses her election, and then centrist always props her up, right? Then she become a lobbyist after she loses. And then if you go by the theory that she one of the people that was lobbying against Biden. It was one of the things buried in one of them in the stories. I covered it at the time. And I was like, hey, look, Heidi Heitkamp. They're like, lobbyist Heidi Heitkamp was fighting against the Build Back Better agenda. So the point is, I want you guys to realize it's a sham. They are designed to keep the Overton window to the right, even if it means they are there to lose, which I think is a good transition. Do you have anything else? I think this is a good transition to another.
No.
Because we got like 15 minutes, but I don't think this story is not too long. Because this is more of a fun story. What order am I gonna go? All right, I got it. Let me pull up one more thing. All right, there it is. Okay, let me start the segment with this. We're not gonna talk about it too much. Emmanuel Macron. I'm not good with French names. beat Le Pen, and it's very interesting because there's a lot of parallels, right? You had Emmanuel Macron, who had been protested against and who is hated by the youth because he pretty much pro-business. Pretty much he been posing regressive filing fees on the working class. And that's why there's been like this enabling of the far right. And this is what neoliberalism is designed to do. Neoliberalism enables the far right. So this fascist goon, Le Pen, who she had to scale back her rhetoric when she became a national candidate, but she used to say shit like, yeah, I don't care, like, yeah, we need ban Muslim people, you gotta ban headscarves. So I'm like, I saw conservatives like her. I'm like, guys, you guys are supposed to be for freedom. Like, you guys are like, don't tread on me, but you literally supported someone who's like, let's ban religions. Like, doesn't that go against all your principles? So I never understand why we even support her. So fucking piss off, bozo. And then she also was like, she pretty much was like, fuck poor people like a long time ago. Anyway, she's not good. So the point is, Emmanuel Macron enables the far right because neoliberalism is hell. It bans the working class, and poverty breeds extremism. Poverty breeds white supremacy. It breeds more radical ideology across the spectrum. This has been shown in multiple societies. So, but we're not here to talk about France. We're here to talk about the parallels. You guys want to see what the messaging that's coming from liberals? And I am kicking myself, guys. I might find it when CJ talk because Biden's like White House chief of staff tweeted something out like this, and I can't fucking find the tweet. If you guys can find it, please put it in the comments because he said something similar, and I thought I bookmarked it, but I don't think I did, so I fucked up. But I'm gonna show you guys another example of a liberal who is using this Macron win as a shield for neoliberalism in Biden. Check this out. Liked by 54,000 people. And I saw this going on around a lot. I need to start saving these tweets more. I lost the fucking one that can't. Literally, one of the Biden White House people tweeted the same sentiment. He said, "Here is something fascinating to me. Macron had nearly exactly the same job approval rating as Biden, but he just won 58% of the vote." And then you have Biden White House chief of staff, or something like he worked for Biden administration in some capacity, where he tweeted the same thing. He was like, Emmanuel Macron, even though he has a low approval rating, he defeated the far right candidate. Interesting. Then I saw a ton of liberal pundits saying stuff like, yo, see, this is why you need a neoliberal, because neoliberalism is how you hold the center. You guys see how they twist everything to keep the Overton window to the right? And now they're saying, no, we can't have pro-worker policies. Who cares if people are distrustful of us? People want the stable person in charge. You see how they always on the propaganda campaign?
Right.
Now, I'm not bringing this up for no reason, because there are a lot of people who believe in this bullshit. I'm trying to be faster because we got 15 minutes. I get your take, CJ, when I finish this presentation, right? So now you still have people still want to take over the Democratic Party. There's been polling, we reported on this polling in Morning Consult, right? Where for the first time, it showed 50% of registered voters are independent. So people are tired of this, and we cannot continue to enable this. So I found this poll today, which is very interesting. According to The Hill, 58% of voters open to backing independent candidate if faced with Biden and Trump, which will be most likely what we're going to get. Or people who do Trump, Ron DeSantis Trump. Pick your poison, same shit.
Yes, same thing to me.
Same shit, different face. So people are ready and people are primed. So if you're repeating this bullshit that we can't waste time for third parties, even if we don't get tangible electoral victories, we could use third parties as a way to build a labor movement, to get people engaged, use electoral politics as a way to radicalize people. Like, yo, we out here for the workers. We organize mutual aid as a third party movement, right? So people are ready for that. 58% voters. And the reason why I bring up Emmanuel Macron, because there was an insane stat that showed like 90% of people said they don't like Macron, but they voted against Le Pen because she's a fucking goon, right? Only 9% voted for Emmanuel Macron because they like his policies. And then like 24% like abstained, which is high for France. And then their turnout was like in the 60 percentile range, which is higher than us, but it's abysmal for France.
Yes, it's low.
Their turnout is usually way higher than us, right? So, excuse me. People wonder why we go after some other progressives, because they're actively harming the movement by dissuading people to go against third parties. Because people are ready, and there are a lot of different strategies other than just national electoral wins that you can have a third party for. I can't wait to hear more from Jill Stein. We're gonna have her back on in the anti-summit.
For the summit.
Shama Sawant talks about this all the time. I learned a lot from her. I learned a lot from this great community that we have, right? So this is my argument. Now is not the time for progressive sheepdogs whose only job is to kill the revolutionary spirit of their supporters. It's time to start calling out these people that said third parties cannot win. So now not the point. They're useful idiots for the establishment. And I don't even have to name drop. You guys see them. Their content speaks for themselves. You guys know exactly who we're talking about. I don't even have to say any names. But it's beyond ridiculous to continue to repeat the same failed strategy over and over again. Because now Emmanuel Macron won again. It doesn't matter what happened in the next election, guys. We're still fucked. I tell you, it literally does not matter. Because even if Biden beat Trump again, they're like, see, they continue the neoliberal, aggressive, imperialist policies because they win. If they lose, they're like, oh no, we need Emmanuel Macron beat Le Pen, so we need another neoliberal. They're gonna bring the primary. There's no out through the two-party system in electoral politics. Go ahead, CJ. I know you want to ask something.
No, but you're making a point that this is the reason why the only way you can get out of it is by not voting for it. So all the leftists, all the reformist leftists who somehow believe the duopoly can be torn down at the same time while participating in it, it simply cannot. That's not something that can happen. You can't, feed the beast and then say, in order you can't feed the beast when you need to starve the beast in order to kill the beast, but you keep feeding the beast. And that's what's happening if you keep participating in electoral politics. Because I went on Colin's show with Brianna Joy Gray, and I forget who else I asked, but I keep asking, and I don't have nobody can give me an answer. And that is, how do we end the duopoly? By doing it the way you're talking about, by voting for Democrats. And no one can answer that question.
I was talking to Misty, and the funny thing is, the people who advocate for taking over the Democrat Party, people say this is our only route. The people who say, "Oh, mutual aid not that big of a deal. We can't have a third party movement." They've been using this new term, and I'm glad that Sabby been peeping this. Nihilist, right?
Nihilist. Yeah, I've been
It's not
talking
in my
about this.
vocabulary. I don't use that word a lot. But nihilist. So they've been saying this a lot. Kyle said it. You had
Jordan
said it.
I covered Jordan saying it. Yeah,
there's a few squad defenders that said. I think Nina was talking about
Emma Vigeland. I got her on video saying
this
it.
is
They
like
all
the
say
new. This is like the new.
Jake Uger said it too. Yeah,
this is the new talking point, right? But I was actually explaining to Misty this idea that you need a savior. That's actually disempowering. We inspire people at RBN. There are people telling me like, "Yo, I actually got mutual aid because listen to what Rome said. It's about us. We don't need these people to save us. Let's form our own fucking party. Rome fucking forming a communist party right now, right? Like we don't give a fuck about electoral politics. Let's form a party and start fucking with the system. And then that's it. People are like, all right, let's fucking do this shit. But meanwhile, listen what their message is. Their message is we need to vote every 2 to 4 years, and then your team loses, and then you dejected. And then I see people. I remember after the Bernie movement was done after Super Tuesday, people was like, "Man, I'm fucking done with this shit, man," because it's fucking extremely depowering. And then they get elected. I see a lot of people like, "I used to believe in LC. Now I don't trust none of these people no more because they put faith in LC thing. They're gonna say she gonna save her." Then they see her fold over and over again, voting for Nancy Pelosi and shit, voting for the NATO expansion. You guys know that was one of her first votes for expanding NATO. So you just see the people betray you and then you get dejected. But our message is, let's take the power ourselves. So who the real nihilists? The people like, oh man, we're not gonna get Medicare for all. They're gonna take 20 years. We might as well have this slow incrementalist approach, even though we're in the climate crisis. Yeah, I know they don't listen to us, but we gotta take the abuse that we take from the Democratic Party because we can get slow change. Or us, or we say we should hit the fucking streets. We have a general strike. That's for communism. What's more empowering to you? Like, it doesn't make sense. People think we're the nihilists. We're the one who got the practical, empowering solutions. It's the people who they are in comfortable, air-conditioned studios, and they're like, these poor people that are complaining about Jim Crow Joe, increasing the police state, increasing funding to Israel, cracking down on protesters and homeless people with the police state. These people are just fucking pessimists, nihilists, right? Yeah. That word is not even in my vocabulary, bro. I'm telling you, because I seen them just using it as a new.
You're making a great point, and I forget what stream, but it was one of the streams last week, and I kept saying like, yeah, it was several streams last week because when I was going through these videos about Nina Turner, because Nina last week was a big Nina Turner week, I kept hearing nihilist, and I'm like, why do they keep saying nihilist? I'm like, grammatically, I'm just talking about the definition of the word. This doesn't apply. Like, this doesn't even make sense that you're using nihilist. And I'm like, a more closer to the actual definition is calling somebody a nihilist who votes for the Democratic Party under the assumption of lesser of two evils. That's a nihilist. A person who's just saying, I'm giving this shit up. Fuck it, I'm just gonna vote for this because that's more closely to a nihilist than somebody who's saying, I'm not participating in this at all. I'm gonna go do something else. That's not a like if the person said, I'm giving up on life, I'm not even gonna vote no more because I'm giving up on life and I'm just ready to go die. That's a nihilist. But people who aren't voting, that's not what they're saying. They're saying these two people don't represent us, and that's why. That's not a nihilist. Go ahead.
These are the you want the funny thing is they call us nihilists, but we was marching for Medicare for all last year. I gave a speech at a Kansas City March for Medicare for all. You want to know what the critics of that march said? The people who call us nihilists, they said, "What's the point of marching? You're not going to get Medicare for all anyway."
Right.
That was their argument against us. You wasting time. Just follow AOC. Follow Bernie. Vote for more Justice Democrats. Then we can get Medicare for all. You guys marching. Why are you doing that? No point. They're the nihilists. They're the one who disempower workers.
Exactly.
So isn't it funny that it's all projection? They're projecting it on the left as right. The left that's telling people not to vote for Democrat Party. Oh, you're just nihilist because you don't believe in a leader, in a fucking bourgeoisie leader, I should say. I follow Rome.
Look what Captain Obvious says. The definition of the word nihilist, according to Kyle Kalinske, is
he was
anyone
one of
not
them
on
too.
board with his specific and failed plan, which is so dumb. That's it. If you're not on board with them, you're a nihilist. How do you call somebody a nihilist who's saying let's hit the streets?
Yes.
That doesn't make any sense. Like if they're
they
saying
know their fathers
fuck the
are
voting,
dumb.
let's hit the streets. That's not a nihilist. So anyway, the word is being misused. I don't know if it's on purpose or not, but it's completely being misused.
We talked about it before, man. I made some people mad when I say this, but man, the audacity of rich white people, they can just go on camera and just say shit with confidence.
Yeah.
Like they know this shit makes no sense. But if you got a suit, and you got a nice comb over or whatever, and like if you present yourself in a nice way, you don't have an accent like I do. Like if you just say shit and you say it confidently, like they know their fans will believe whatever. They can just they're nihilists because they believe in taking people power. Like they know that shit makes no sense, but they just say it confidently, and they know their fans will believe it because they got the like aura of respectability or whatever. They got fucking leak academia or fucking I don't know. I don't get it, but they somehow get away with that. You guys see how many receipts that I pull up on these streams? I feel like I have the burden to prove everything I say. Like, and that's something that eats at me every time I stream. Like, damn, I gotta bring this receipt. I gotta make sure I back this up because I'm saying crazy shit. They don't give a fuck. They be on the stream like, bro, I don't give a fuck. They like, yo, Biden's a good climate option. I don't give a fuck about this, right? Like, they don't give a fuck. They just, and I know this because me and CJ, we've been watching more of this stuff, preparing for shows because I'm a commentator. I gotta know what my opposition is saying. So when I be watching, I'm like, bro, they be blatantly wrong. Like, they'll blatantly like lie about the history of NATO. They'll like lie by omission. They just say it with confidence. I'm like, I don't know how you guys do it. I feel like I gotta make sure I fact check myself. I fact myself in the middle stream all the time. Like, and this is we talked about it with Savvy a long time ago. You're a black content creator, man. You gotta prove yourself. You gotta make sure you got right knowledge. But if you're a bourgeoisie white person, you immediately got like disrespect that we gotta fight for. But anyway, I don't want to get too much on tangent. I got one more quick thing I want to show you.
Yeah, go ahead.
What kind of relates, and then we can, unless you guys don't know, share, we can wrap up soon. But this is quickly.
No, I don't have anything else.
What we told you guys on this show. Now, this is kind of a fun story. What we told you on the show, Biden and the Democrats do not give a fuck about winning. If you do, you're being ridiculous. If you think that's the case, if they lose, don't consultants not. They don't have a record. Like, it doesn't matter how much they lose. Like, think about the Hillary Clinton people. The Hillary Clinton people lost to the first black president. Then they lost to a clown show game host, and they still get fucking jobs. There's no losing for them. They don't give a fuck. So the whole Build Back Better agenda, like, we didn't cover that shit because we were like, bro, this shit is weak. He's not gonna fight. This shit's not gonna happen anyway. I like, bro, why are you guys covering this? It's not gonna happen. That was the message of this show. I'm gonna show you guys some evidence that these centrist Democrats did exactly what Biden wanted, and that is what we were saying. There are a lot of people who want to pretend this rotating villain is real. Kristen Sinema, Joe Manchin, they were actually fighting the Biden administration to the Biden administration dismay. That's theater. That shit's not real. That shit might well be on HBO. That shit's not real. Joe Manchin and Kristen Sinema's job is to keep the Overton window to the right and to keep Joe Biden and Democratic Party donors happy. So they can run on progressive items, but they will always have those few people that stop the progressive agenda. That's the same thing happened with the public option with Joe Lieberman, how they high cam blocked it back then. It's the same rotating villain bullshit. Even if Kristen Sinema loses, even if Joe Manchin loses, the oil companies, the big Wall Street, they will just buy someone else. And that was a story that was widely reported, that there are a lot of Democrats that are secretly happy that Kristen Sinema and Joe Manchin are coming out against these stuff, because if they didn't do it, they would do it. That was recorded by a lot of media. I literally saw people report on it, then they forgot it. So I'm prefacing the story too much, right? So what's the evidence of this? This guy, I actually don't know this guy. This guy didn't get a lot of media play, or maybe I don't pay attention enough. So this rep, Kurt Schrader, he was one of the people that was blocking Biden's agenda. He was like 1 out of 2, if I'm getting this right. Yeah, because we didn't cover this at the time, so this was news to me. So he was 1 out only 2 Democrats to vote against the American Rescue Plan. And he has a progressive primary challenger, right? But despite blocking Biden's agenda, Biden endorsed him. Don't you see the game? Like, if you really cared about getting this legislation passed, wouldn't you be fucking raising hell constantly at Joe Manchin, Kristen Sinema, and Kurt Schrader? Am I the only one who don't know who the fuck that guy is? How did he fall? How did he fly under the radar? But anyway, because he was only 1 out of 2 Democrats, right? So let me click this link. What did this link says? So Kurt Schrader explains his vote against the 1.9. So this bill was already trashed. We did so many breakdowns, guys. Don't think we endorse this shit. Like, if you ain't watched our old content, do not think we endorse this shit. We did many streams breaking down why this fucking relief bill is trash. If you think it was a climate bill, you're mistaken. If you think it was a proper infrastructure bill, you're mistaken, because it was spanned over 10 years. Biden's original plan was for $6 trillion. It got cut down to 1.9. Bernie Sanders' original proposal was like 12 trillion. But then Bernie endorsed this shit. That was literally a fraction of his plan. But anyway, I'm getting too much into the weeds. So this is like evidence. I won't play this video. I would love to see what he said. This is a quote. We were presented with a $1.9 trillion bill, not allowed or encouraged to offer amendments. The voice of elected, blah, blah, blah. Actually, this is like useless to read. This fucking stupid shit. This is nonsense. So anyway, he voted against this thing that really didn't do anything, right? But Biden still endorsed him. And I share these stories because I want you guys to know that this whole fucking theater that they play, oh, there's just a few Democrats that find Biden, only we can get rid of them. That's bullshit.
Yep.
Biden was more than happy that these people are winning. He'll be more than happy if Kristen Sinema and Joe Manchin wins. And if they don't, someone else will be bought out, and then Biden will endorse them again. See, that don't have to be a long story.
No, it's a cycle. It's a cycle. But it's a story of just American corruption. Really, America is a story of corruption and atrocities. Really, that's really the story of America. But that's a good place for us to wrap it up. Lots of great comments. A lot like our Twitch tonight has been off the chain. Like, there's a lot of comments from Twitch. I don't know why tonight everybody started to come on Twitch and watch us, but we're welcome everybody on Twitch.
I think they tired of YouTube too, man. We gonna I think we were live on Rockfin today too. We got
we're live on Rockfin right now. We got to still get Odyssey and Rumble. That's gonna be so fire when we're literally
we're gonna be live streaming on Rumble soon. I had to wait for a key. I just gotta check my email. I think they probably have it sent by now. I didn't have time to set it up today, but we're gonna set a live stream on Rumble up here very soon, and that's gonna be the main thing. That's gonna be the main stream I promote. I'm talking to Colin right now, and that's we see that's gonna be dope. We may be on Colin as well. RBN, we're doing good stuff, so I'm glad you guys are starting to support us on other platforms. Just make sure you guys support us on Substack. I appreciate we got a lot of new Patreons. I'm gonna start doing this thing, and maybe I should have done this more, but I'm gonna start shouting out Patreons because we have been getting a lot of people who subscribe to it because they want to support the channel. I want you guys to understand, like, we are like 6 individuals. Like, we don't make a lot of money, so if you guys like any support we get, I want to take care of our people here. So I appreciate all the support we get on Patreon. So keep up the support on there. We can continue to do great things like the Anti-Imperialist Summit this weekend, which I'm extremely excited for. But you can check me out this time tomorrow. I think I don't think I'm gonna stream Wednesday, and we're not doing Thursday because we got more plans to do for Anti-Imperialist Summit.
Right, we got to get ready.
I feel like you guys know a heads up. I'll be on Outside of You with Josiah at the same time slot, but probably not Wednesday and Thursday because I got a lot of prep to do for this summit. I'm super excited for it. So that's what I got planned. I want to pass to you, CJ. You can share your plan, and we can wrap up after that.
Yeah, no, just same. The summit is really I'm preparing for. Actually, I'm not gonna probably be streaming So what I did earlier is I recorded a stream and I made it private so I can just chop up some videos and upload them
CJ,
because I may not. Go ahead.
CJ, you mind if I try something out real quick?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
'Cause this is almost like an anti-imperialist summit update. Because I was trying to get some Palestinian and activists on.
Yeah.
We're gonna have I actually scheduled it for Saturday, 1 p.m. Eastern time. We're gonna have a panel on Israel Palestine. We're gonna have the U.S. Palestinian Community Network join us. So once again, we're still adding fire segments on our panel. So that's just another one you can expect. We're gonna have the Israel Palestine panel. I just want to announce that, guys. So please show support. If you guys are gonna watch this, watch the Anti-Imperialist Sun because it's gonna be a lot. It's gonna be a lot of work. So, anyway, back to you, CJ.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna same thing, showing everybody the graphic, April 29th through May 1st. The flyer right now says streaming on Rockfin, YouTube, and Twitter, but it's also going to be on Twitch. It's also going to be on Facebook, and hopefully we can get Rumble at it. And Odyssey is an outside chance, but I know Rumble is a great possibility. So all of those platforms, we should be or will be streaming too. I wonder if we can stream to Snapchat once we get it. I wonder if you can stream whole items to Snapchats. But I think we've come to the end. Please like this stream if you haven't liked this stream already. Please like this stream. Please subscribe to us. We are at, I did a check during the show. We're at 15,410 subscribers right now. So hit that subscribe button. Get us to 16,000 and keep moving forward. Hopefully this summit this time should be a big push. These summits, we should be getting more subscribers, not losing or being stagnant with subscribers.
Man, you guys gotta watch that shit. I'm telling you, watching, man. And they did some weird shit after the General Tri Summit. We see what they do on this one. So
yeah,
we see.
I think that's all I got. We're gonna leave you with another video. This one is Malcolm X doing one of his speeches, great speech where he's talking about black clergymen kind of sheepdogging, and that's not a new thing. He's talking about it here. So we're gonna leave you with this video. Let me pause it. Shout out for Jimmy Dore. He retweeted it. That's why I got a lot of views all in one day. So shout out to Jimmy Dore for that. Anything else, Nick, before I play this video?
I got nothing. Just check me out this time tomorrow with Josana. Subscribe.
Yes. So we're gonna leave you with this video, everybody. Thank you for joining us on Rockfin. Thank you for joining us on Facebook. Thank you for joining us wherever you're watching us on replay. Thank you. We're gonna leave you with this video. We're not coming back after this video. The stream will end. So have a good night.
The 8 million non-voting Negroes are the majority. The downtrodden black masses. They have refused to vote. They've refused to take a part in politics because they reject the Uncle Tom approach of the clergy politician leadership that has been handpicked for the so-called Negroes by the white man himself.
I mean, if that's not, have you heard of Al Sharpton? Now, Al Sharpton, they've hated for decades. Demonized Al Sharpton, especially when he was a bigger version of himself. Then magically, now he's on board with everybody? How is that? What's different?
Downtrodden black masses. They have refused to vote. They've refused to take a part in politics.
Why would somebody who lives in the Jordan Down projects in Watts, who's working 40 hours but can only afford to live in the projects, whose uncle and dad were either murdered or in jail because of the 1994 crime bill, who is living in a rundown, depressed city where literally blocks are boarded up, where it's dangerous, why would he vote? Or she? Or the person vote, this person? What will voting do for them? I mean, that's a question. Ask the person who's a Democrat who's asking you to vote for them. Describe a person like that and say, what are you or what is your party? Don't say them, because politics is about a team. So say the team you're trying to get me to vote you onto. What is your team? Not you. What is that team doing for these things?